Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there's a form in the description of this stream right now. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free to put your question in there as well, because it might show up in a video or podcast or answered in another stream or whatever. So make sure that you do put your questions there as well, because that's how I make sure that I'm, keeping up with what it is that you want out of the content that I create. In addition to that, if you are watching this on the replay, I do encourage you to stick around, because there's going to be a little segment right here that you may or may not want to kind of skip over, maybe 1 or 2 minutes in. And that's where, the juice or the content actually starts here in the live stream. And I'm a little out of breath. I just ran up here, was making my coffee a little bit late. So that's kind of what's going on. So everybody, I hope that you've had an awesome week. I do want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 browser plugin for YouTube content creators. It'll help you optimize your videos. It'll help you test your thumbnails, things like that. You can try it free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. In addition to that, this stream is also co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is the easiest live streaming plugin I've ever used, ever. It's the not even plugin. What am I talking about? It's the easiest live streaming software tool that I've ever used. StreamYard is all web-based. So even if your computer sucks, you can still have professional looking, awesome looking and sounding live streams, which is pretty cool. You can even add graphics to them, invite guests with just a couple of clicks. I mean, it's incredible. So you can check that out at StreamYard.com. And I also want to say, if you're just joining us right now, what we're doing is we're answering your YouTube questions. So make sure that you get them in the queue. I'm going to be pulling them out of the chat as well. So if you got a question, don't hesitate to, drop it in when I ask, hey, if you got any questions, or just drop your questions, as you, proceed forward as we're hanging out here, so that I can make sure that, that I can get them, up in the queue as well. See if I don't know, on or off. You think on or off? What do you think? This is on and this is off. What do you think? On or off? Let me know. You're controlling this right now. On or off? It's up to you. Just tell me on or off, on or off. I'm waiting for you. One brick at a time.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you look for, okay, we got a bunch of ons. There we go. Make sure that you look for the Nimminati VIP Facebook group. That is our members only Facebook group. We look at channels over there. We ask, or we answer, direct questions. We're growing an awesome community inside of that Facebook group. So make sure that you check that out as well, so that you can, hang out, get to, know the more dedicated side of the community here on Nimmin Live. So expat information, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Seth Perry, what's going on? Doug Houston, YT, hope that you're doing fantastic as well. Now, okay, this is mixed. You guys are confusing me here. We've got a bunch of ons, we got a bunch of offs. I don't know what to do. How's this? We'll just alternate. So just from time to time, just drop a bunch of ons on me, and then I'll turn it back on, and then drop a bunch of offs on me from time to time, and I'll turn it back off. We'll just keep bouncing it back and forth, so that we can make sure that this looks how you want it to look. Woo! So anyway, I hope you're having an awesome week. I hope everything has went well for you in your life and on your YouTube channel this week. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be digging into the things that you should do as a content creator. A lot of the questions that typically come through here during the stream are about getting views, getting subscribers, ad revenue, generating revenue in general. We also talk about additional things like mindset stuff and, things like that also. So, make sure that if you are a YouTube content creator, that you hang out. Again, we are pulling these questions, trying to get everything set up. I just came in ran up the steps with the coffee, trying not to spill it, threw on the slippers, threw on the hoodie, sat down, still trying to, get it all rolling here. So, okay. So, basically, let's get into the first question. Let's go ahead and just get this party started off right. Let's get this party started quickly, right? Timing was off on that. That's why I'm not a comedian, folks. That's why I'm not a comedian. Ross Baxter is our first question today. Ross Baxter, if you are in the house, what's up, man? Thank you for your question. It's an art podcast channel. The goal of the channel is a student art podcast channel designed to help artists find their dream job by interviewing guests in the film and the gaming industries. That's cool. Question. Hey, Nick, thanks for the amazing stream. I've been able to make YouTube my job now. So thanks for everything you've taught. It's helped my career so much since watching your streams. Awesome to hear that. High five and fist bump to you. My question is basing titles around YouTube search better for reach? So having short, straight to the point titles, or is long tail titles better? So when it comes to writing titles, some things that you want to make sure that you are thinking about when it comes to writing titles. Hey, Chef PK. When you are writing titles, you want to make sure that you are including keywords if you can't be extremely compelling. And what I mean by extremely compelling is some people will make videos. The one that I've been referencing lately is somebody made a video. It's something like, it was a big channel, of course, so they have that already. But the title of the video was something along the lines of, rich people have bad taste. And in that situation, there wasn't necessarily anything that, on the keyword side that would make that video necessarily show up in search. However, it was so compelling that, you almost, had to click on it in that situation. So if you can't do that yet, which, I'm still working on that too, but if you're not, really good at that, then in that situation, having a keyword in your title so that the humans that are looking around YouTube can identify that that video is for them. Also, so that, YouTube systems can have a little bit of context in terms of what's going on in that video as well. So, having short titles, that can also be a win, because then you make sure that everything that the viewer is supposed to see, or the potential viewer is supposed to see, is all within the character limit before it gets truncated, which is right around 50 characters. So that makes sure that your titles don't get cut off anywhere on the platform. So because of that, you want to make sure that any keywords that you're using, that they are towards the front of the title. Anything that's going to grab the person, the human's attention, that is cruising around YouTube looking for content to watch, or that just logged onto YouTube and it shows up on their homepage, the thing that's going to grab their attention, make sure that that is as close to, as hit myself in the face with my string. Make sure that that is as close to the front of your title as you possibly can. So we had some super chats come in. Let me go ahead and get these. I knew I forgot a screen today. That was the one that I forgot. Give me 1 second here really quick while I open up the YouTube backend so that I don't overlook any of those, so that we can make sure that we get you covered here as well. All right. So while I'm actually pulling this up, waiting for all this to load, I'm just going to go ahead and and just answer one of the ones that I can see right here. And this is from WrestleRing. Says, hey, 56% of my views are from search and only 2.5 are suggestions. Any tips on how to get YouTube to suggest me? Also, where can I go to get a channel review? Thanks. So Daniel Batal, Brian G. Johnson, Roberto Blake, all those guys do channel reviews. I'm pretty sure that Annie might do them as well if you watch her content, but I'm not 100% sure. But in terms of, the people that I recommend in terms of being really good at this stuff, I would definitely, reach out to Roberto Blake at Awesome Creator Academy, Daniel Battelle at danielbattelle.com, or Brian G. Johnson at briangjohnson.tv. All those guys can get you covered on channel reviews. But in terms of suggestions, if you want to get more suggested traffic and just browse traffic in general, you have to work on just being compelling. And that comes down to how you're putting your content, or how you're putting your packaging together for your video. And by packaging, I mean topic, title, thumbnail for your packaging. So the idea is, of course, you got to make sure that you're making videos that people are interested in general. Just for fun, I'm going to turn this on again. Boom. You want to make sure that you're making content that people are interested in general. And, that the topic itself is something that would be interesting to a fair amount of people. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you're optimizing it so that it's clear in terms of the topic of that particular video, because one of the things that YouTube says in the YouTube Creator Academy, which everybody here should go to, it's 100% free and provided by YouTube. But the YouTube Creator Academy, they mention that videos are suggested, basically videos that are of similar topic are suggested next to each other, and videos that people typically watch together are typically suggested next to each other as well. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are giving enough context and how you're putting everything together in terms of your title, description, tags, all that, so that you can make sure that there's enough context, so that the system can know quickly exactly what's going on with your video, so then they can, put it in the right places for the right people. So if you are winning in search, it could just be because, the people that go in search, they respond, at a high rate, from search when they see you there. But you need to, if you want to get more browse and suggested traffic, you need to work on the compelling side of things. So a couple things, just a quick workshop with you here. A couple things that you can do is, one, make sure that the imagery that you're using makes it easy for the people that you're trying to connect with your content to identify that your content is for them. Okay. So focus really hard on making sure that the imagery, of course it has something to do with the video, but focus on the thing that would grab the viewer's attention, because the way that YouTube works, they're showing content to us. As a user, they're showing content to us that that's based on the things that we're interested in. So because of that, you want to make sure that when YouTube shows your video on a homepage or next to other videos in the suggestions, you want to make sure that somebody can identify what your video is about in terms of it being something that they are interested in. So just make sure that you're doing that. And when it comes to your titles, make sure that, like I was saying before, the thing that the person would be interested in or the thing that would grab their attention, make sure that, and the compelling element, make sure that both of those things are within that 50 character limit, so that anywhere that they show up on the platform, they are not getting cut off. Now you can go farther than that 50 character limit, but the most important stuff needs to be within that 50 character limit, or it's going to get cut off on YouTube, to where they don't show the full title. All right, so let's see here. Next up on the list, hopefully that was helpful for you. Let me load the page here. So next up on our list, we got Jay-Z Help. Thank you for that, man. Says, please talk about how channels grow faster as we make more vids, get more subs, and get more views. Talk about exponential growth. So exponential growth on YouTube, it's not necessarily guaranteed. But one thing that is important to consider is that when you are publishing content and you're growing your video archive essentially on your YouTube channel, one of the things that are happening in that situation is you have, like, when you first start out, when you first start your YouTube channel, one of the things that can happen is that you are, you got 5 videos on your channel that are bringing in viewers, right? And when you have those 5 viewers on your channel those 5 videos on your channel that are bringing in viewers, that's just like a limited amount. But once you get to the point where you've got, let's say, 500 videos or 100 videos on your channel, then you have 100 videos working for you around the clock to bring in viewers. It could be 1 viewer every day. It could be, thousands of viewers every day, or in some cases, hundreds of thousands of viewers. But the idea is that as your content library grows, as long as you keep putting out good content that people respond to in a positive way, that it kind of creates that snowball effect. And a lot of times people associate that effect with, hey, I got 100 subscribers, now my channel's going to grow faster. Or I got 1,000 subscribers, now my channel's going to grow faster. It's not about that. It's about the content that you have that is getting a good response, that then in turn is continually bringing new viewers to you on a regular basis. So that's more of what's going on there. Christina Smallhorn in the house. I hope that you are doing fantastic.
Super chat.
Christina says, a while back you said that you'd be doing a YouTube course. Will you still be doing that? And when will it be out for release? Thank you for all that you do, Christina. Thank you for that. So my plan for that, because we launched VidCharge, which is our video editing service. We launched that last month, and I'm still spreading awareness about that as well. So by the way, if you guys don't know, we launched a video editing service called VidCharge. If you go to vidcharge.com, or vidcharge.com/packages, you can see more information about that. I think I have a link in the description as well. But now the next thing, once we start getting a little bit more attention to that, in March, my plan is to open up the course. So everything's done. I had to go through, strip out some branding, and I've changed the name and stuff like that. But the core content is finished. I just have to do a little bit on the back end side in terms of connecting my payment gateways and all that, and then we're ready to rock and roll. So thank you for that, Christina. Give me a chance to pitch everything. That was great. High five. Let's see here. Danielle, Tube Spanner, says, are you moving the tripod in the background to different locations just to mess with us, or is it a spooky haunted tripod? Oh, it's a spooky haunted tripod. Yeah, I'm not touching it. It's definitely a spooky haunted tripod. It moves on its own. It has its own, will, and because of that, it'll just kind of move from time to time. No, one thing I was actually doing, that's why I was running, like a minute or two late today, is that I was trying to get this camera set up to where I could have like a sort of like an over the shoulder view. So you guys can see this, like when I reference, what's going on the screen and all that stuff, so that you guys would be able to see that, coming in this way. But for whatever reason, I tried 2 very long HDMI cords to get them into the ATEM Mini, but no dice, no luck. They just couldn't get it to work. So I'll start with that one again. next time, or probably after the stream or something, so I can get it all figured out. Let's see here. And TubeSpader, by the way, guys, I got a link to that down in the description below. It's a workflow tool that I've partnered with, and we are turning that. It's already like there's already cool stuff that you can do in it, but we're actually fine tuning some stuff. And we're going to be launching that as well soon, or relaunching, I should say, with some really cool features that you guys are going to absolutely love in terms of how it's going to help you with your workflow on YouTube. Let's see here. Stan Lorchard says spooky haunted tripod for the perfect pan shot. That's true. It just kind of floats around the room. That would be good. That would definitely be good. Okay, turn this off for fun. Okay. So let's see here. Paul Peck, what's up, man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Okay, so the next question that we have here on this list today is from, we got Ross taken care of. And then after this question, I'm going to pull one out of the chat. So if you're hanging out and you're like, oh, you know what, I wish I could get my question answered, hang out, because right after this question, I'll ask if you have a question. Go ahead and drop it in the chat, and I'll just randomly pull them out of there. Death Monkey XL Gaming, what's up? Hope you're doing fantastic. I don't know why I said GX. Adventures with Abigail says that she uploads, been making videos for 1 year or more. Type of channel is lifestyle/productivity. The goal of the channel is to encourage people and help them become a better version of themselves. And the question, hey there, hey. Hope you're doing awesome. Says, I've been changing up my content and it's been going really well. Do you think I should delete a few old videos that are really bad, haven't gotten a lot of views, and don't relate to my content anymore? If they're not getting views, if you're not happy with them and they don't relate to like they won't add value to the people that are coming into your channel, yeah, go ahead and private those videos and just let them go. But just confirm before you do that. Make sure that they are make sure that they're not getting still getting views. Hey, Tim Yance, hope you are doing fantastic. Life on YouTube and Facebook says it looks better off. All right, so let's see here. So we got Team Ad TV saying that, says, thanks, Nick and Doug. Your tips are amazing. I'm 150 away from 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. Hey, high five and fist bump to you. Nice work on that. You'll be sliding into that partner program here soon. That's awesome. Nice work. It's exciting, isn't it? Like super exciting, cruising into, like every time you hit a milestone, right? It's like, oh, sweet, hit that one, especially when perks open. Like now you can make money, directly from ads. That's fantastic. Let's see here. So Mr. Casey Loudry says, would like to know your thoughts about the new YouTube applause feature. So that's not a new feature. They've been testing that for a really long time. I know Andrew Can has had it for like a year, maybe over a year. And I think it's great. Anything that they can do to help content creators make more money, I think is a win. So, in that situation, once it gets solidified and it's available across, everybody's YouTube channels, in that situation, once they do that, then it's going to be awesome because we're going to be able to say things like, hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me an applaud or clap or whatever it is that we're going to end up, whatever language we're going to wrap around that feature. That's going to be pretty cool and just another way to generate revenue. And for people that are not familiar with what that question was about, YouTube has a feature to where we can see here Aaron Short Music. In their situation, they just gave a super chat, right? And with that super chat, those are typically only available on live streams. So where you can just do that, straight, like, hey, here's some cash, right? But on the applaud feature, that makes that possible for video content as well. So, if you're in the partner program and they roll that out onto your channel, then you're going to be able to, have people essentially tip you, just from watching your video content, which is awesome, especially if you're adding a lot of value to the people that are watching. Let's see here.
Super chat.
Aaron Short Music says, what do you think about making a reaction video that will get a lot of views but isn't directly related to your content? Me personally, I wouldn't do it because what you are trying to do is you're trying to create a resource for people on your channel. If that piece of content is of interest to the people that are watching your channel, like the people that you're trying to reach, in that situation, it makes sense. So like in that way, instead of looking at, niching as a limitation on the actual content itself, think of niching as like I'm making content for like a certain, type of person or group of people. And if your reaction video would still be interesting to those people, then in that situation, I think it's a win. A great example of this, somebody in the community, Roger Wakefield. So he has plumbing content, and he was just doing, plumbing videos and teaching people how to do plumbing stuff. And then he started doing reaction videos and things like that. And his channel just blew up from that reaction content, but it's still in alignment with the people that he's trying to reach, which is plumbers, because when they see, the massively dramatic things that he's showing in his videos, it's still of interest to them. So, because of that, if you think it would be of interest to your audience, then in that case, then I would go for it. If you think like, the people that are watching my content, this probably is not for them in any way, shape, or form, then in that case, you might want to avoid it, or just throw a Hail Mary and be like, you know what? Let's just try it and see how it goes, right? Let's just try it, see how it goes. But if you do put out a piece of content and you are just experimenting to see how it goes, make sure that that piece of content is something that you can commit to in the event that it ends up doing exceptionally well compared to your other content. So, if you are putting out something that's not 100% alignment, and that ends up doing great on your channel, then it's going to be hard to go back to, the original stuff that you're doing, because then, if that ends up bringing in tons of people to your YouTube channel, then in that situation, you're going to kind of pivot a little bit so that you can make sure that you're making content that those people care about. So just be ready to make sure, I should say, that when you are experimenting with content in your channel, that you're willing to walk in that direction. Roger Wakefield, what's up, man? I was just talking about you. I should have said your name 3 times to have you show up, I thought. Let's see here. Chrisilla Travels. Chrissa, sorry about that. Travels, Florida.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you are on Facebook that you look for Nimminati VIP. That is our members only Facebook group. Over there, we look at channels, that kind of stuff. My thing in there is I'm obligated to stream over there like once a month, but because I like hanging out over there, I stream over there every Wednesday right now. So that's what's going on. So it's an awesome community over there in the Facebook group. So make sure that you definitely join, because there's a lot of members here that don't join the Facebook group. And if you are a member and you're not in the Facebook group, you're missing out. So make sure that if you are a channel member, that you are in that Facebook group. Video content creation.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Next up on our list, as I keep scrolling down, we got Neil, Urban Explorer in the house. Neil, man, hope that you're doing great.
Chat.
Says, let's see here, 50 of 5,000 in 18 months. Thanks for all the help and advice and being there for all of us, Nick. Also, thanks to Christina and Paul for putting up with my stuff. Yeah, I know Christina especially, right? I know Christina especially. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So from 50 to 5,000 in 18 months. Looking good, man. Looking good. It was awesome seeing you on Clubhouse yesterday, too. I think that's the first room that we've been in together. And by the way, if you have an iPhone and you're not on Clubhouse, get on there. And once you're on there, make sure that you follow me, follow Neil. He's in there. I think Christina's in there. I think Roger Wakefield's in there. Let's see here. I know Danielle is in there. Danielle Hallett from Tube Spanner there. Let's see here. Who else is in there? Pretty much like all the people that make content like this, we're all in there. There's tons of, just YouTubers in general on there. So, make sure that you are checking that out if you have an iPhone. Soapbox Marketer, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Oh, Roger says I was here before you today. Okay. I was actually running a little bit late. I showed up, I think, like 1 or 2 minutes, 2 minutes late there. Pimp Diverse Entertainment, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated there. Okay, so the next question that we have, we did Adventures with Abigail, so we are going to go here. Actually, I said that I was going to pull them out of the chat. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it here. And if you have a question, go ahead and drop it here, and I'll just pick a random one out of here just to make sure that if you just joined the stream, because the form is starting to get filled up. So I'm just going to go back and forth just in case you happen to just jump in. So the early birds, they get the worms in the form, but if you just showed up, I want to make sure to give you some info too. Let's see here. I'm just going to scroll down, wait for these to come in. So Matu Loon Cod says, could you greet me a happy birthday? Happy birthday today. So let's get I would put a song together for you. So we recorded a bunch of footage at Vid Summit. And basically we're going to put together, my brother's going to put together a birthday song, and that just kind of like disappeared. So I'm not sure. We still have all the stuff for it, but I'm not sure what the hold up on that was. I know he said at one time he needed me to like sing something. so I'm not sure what's going on there. I actually need to send him a message about that. If he comes in the stream later, for anybody that hangs out for the whole stream, if he ends up coming in the stream later, ask him about that when he comes in. We've got Mr. Camera Junkie saying, I love Clubhouse. Let's see here. Underwater says, are you streaming with StreamYard? Yes, I am. That's what I use every single Saturday. Makes it easy to bring in guests and stuff. And it's just like, it's rock solid too. Let's see here. Do you link the description? Okay. So Ronald F. Worst, here we go. Ronald F. Worst, criminologist, says, good morning, Nick. My channel started, good morning. Says, my channel started 8 years ago. I'm pumped to bring my channel back to life. Do lengthy descriptions help or hurt the video for YouTube to distribute the video to targeted viewers? They help because the descriptions just give the system even more context, right? So, so because of that, having your descriptions fully filled out, it just helps, YouTube, the algorithms of YouTube, it helps them understand, what's going on with your video. So your title, your description, your tags, all of that stuff gets context. So does the actual video content itself as well. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're double checking the captions if you're using auto-generated captions, because sometimes the system can mess things up when it's generating your captions. And because of that, it can say the wrong things, which can then throw, bad context, so to speak. Let's see here. Spice Climber,
Super chat.
thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Dylan Cross Finance
Super
says,
chat.
thanks for the tips. Thank you, Dylan. Whiskey Dictionary in the house says, I release 2 videos per week. One is trivia and does far less views. I worry that's hurting me overall rather than helping. Does that worry make sense? YouTube thinks that every other video is bad. So no, basically when it comes to your YouTube channel, I mean, we all want to put out just hits every single time. And, ultimately you do want to strive to do that. So when you notice that, people are not responding as much to the trivia content, that's the audience saying like, hey man, we're not digging this stuff as much as the other stuff. So because of that, it depends on what it is that you're doing with those. So let's say, for example, that your trivia content is there just for the sake of like, hey, let's just have some fun. I'm going to have, these pieces of content. It's just a way to generate more engagement with like the hardcore subscribers, the people that watch all my stuff. So that's what I'm using that for, is just for those people. And then of course, some new people will come in as well. But for the stuff that performs better, that stuff performs better. Therefore, you're going to get in front of more new viewers with that as well as pleasing the people that are already subscribed to your YouTube channel as well. So if you wanted to just like really focus hard on, doing, things in terms of like, hey, I want to make sure every video is awesome. Since the audience isn't responding as well to your trivia content, that's telling you like, hey, maybe I need to not do that trivia content. So it just comes down to what it is that you're trying to do and the reason that you're continuing to publish that, even if it doesn't perform as well. Let's see here. So next up on our list, I'm going to pull this one from the form. And this particular one, let's see here. Let me do this. Okay, so next up on the form, we've got AJ Digger. AJ Digger has been on YouTube for less than 6 months. The type of channel says, we do cool and awesome stuff with construction equipment, like driving over things, crushing things, and doing experiments with excavators and bulldozers. That sounds like a good time. That sounds like a really good time. The goal of the channel is to make money and reinvest the money into better videos. And the question, how can I attract an audience? I tried making a few videos and they're getting some views, but no subscribers. Keep going. Keep going. So making a few videos on YouTube, keep going. Keep going. In your particular case, for the type of content that you make, focus really hard on your thumbnail and making your title itself as compelling as humanly possible. Your thumbnail is going to be the thing on your videos. Your thumbnail is going to be the thing that draws the attention to your videos. So make sure that you're focused on the imagery in your thumbnails. Don't pollute it up with text or anything like that. Make sure that it's a clear focus on what it is that you're driving over, whatever it happens to be. Use close-ups, when possible. But one thing to think about as well is, and this is on the extreme side, so you don't need to do this until you get some momentum on the channel. I mean, you don't need to do it at all. But one thing to think about is if there's any products also that are trending, like let's say Apple comes out the new phone, something like that. In situations like that, you can also have fun and do things to where you crush phones and like that sort of things, to where you're doing something extreme with something that's popular. Some people are watching it. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that to an iPhone. Kind of like the blend it channel, right? Same idea, where you just take stuff and you just, they just take it and blend it. In your case, you take it and you drive a bulldozer over it, or, whatever other device it is or machinery that you have. But when it comes to YouTube, it typically takes, a decent amount of content just to, understand how to get things, moving on your channel and how to get people to respond to what it is that you're doing. But in your case, use your audience retention reports to pay. Whoa, that was close. I almost spilled my coffee. Use your audience retention reports, which is inside of your YouTube studio, the back end. Use your audience retention reports to make sure that people are responding to your videos the way that you want them to. Even if you're not getting a lot of views right now, you're still going to see a graph. So you want to make sure that, people are still responding positively to the videos. But I would spend extra time just making sure that when you are recording your content, that you get really good high quality pictures to use instead of screen grabs, that you get really good pictures to use for your thumbnails, because in your situation, your thumbnails are what's going to push what it is that you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian G. Johnson in the house. Brian G. Johnson, I hope that you are doing fantastic. Brian G. Johnson is the author of, say it with me for those of you that are familiar with this, Tube Ritual Volume 1 helps you grow your YouTube channel from 0 to 5,000 subscribers and more. You can find that on Amazon. Tube Ritual Volume 1 teaches you all the basics of YouTube. So make sure that you check that out. Hope that you're doing awesome, Brian G, and everybody else as well. Okay, so next up on our list, we've got Funky Funkos.
Super Chat
Says, I get most of my traffic from shorts. I've seen about 10,000 followers in 1 month from them. As a heads up, everybody, you know how we're like, hey, experiment with shorts, 10,000 subscribers in a month from shorts. They can't be monetized. The videos I spend time on don't drive traffic or watch time. It's Funko Pop content. So not sure what Funko Pop content specifically is personally, but if you are not being monetized right now, hang tight, because like as they keep developing that particular thing, you will be in the future. So keep going with what it is that you're doing. Unfortunately, you can't get the monetization from that, but if you are having people subscribe to the YouTube channel, if you make any long form content, some of those people will get it recommended to them as well. So of course you got to be able to get them to respond to it. But besides that, if I was in your situation, I would just keep moving forward, even though you're not able to monetize it right now. If possible, you might want to think about alternative monetization with what it is that you're doing as well. I don't know how long your shorts are, but if you can have like a really quick, thing saying, hey, to get this, thing or whatever it is that you're doing in your videos, head to whatever website that you have. And on that website, let's say you make like a store there, something like that, where people can buy, things around what it is that you do. If that applies, I'm just kind of looking at your profile picture here and trying to uncover in my brain what Funko Pop might be. So if it is something, where people can like purchase something, then in that case, building your own store, trying to drive traffic to that is an alternative way that that you can make money from what it is that you're doing now without having to, wait for ad revenue. But even without that, hang in there, keep doing what you're doing, because it's clearly working. So keep doing what you're doing, and just keep moving forward on that. And once the monetization does kick in, you're going to, you're already going to have that machine working for you in your favor, so to speak. Video content creation. Thank you for the super chat. Is there a simple or complex way to get more subs or other off YouTube platforms that can also help? Would love to collab sometime. So when it comes to getting subscribers like to come from off of YouTube, when people share your content out, that's one way that people can come back into your YouTube channel. Of course, if you're active in communities around the type of stuff that you make, then in that situation, that's another way to where over time people can know you in those communities, and over time other people will like recognize you there, and they'll be like, oh hey, I think they have a video on this, or things like that. And then you'll start pulling viewers in from everywhere once you start just kind of embedding yourself in the communities around what it is that you're making content about. Let's see here. In addition to that, I mean, I don't know what it is that you're doing offsite in terms of social media, but also just interacting and like tweets and stuff like that. Like if you're doing video content creation, if you're literally teaching people how to make video content, in that case, like all the people that, you know, all the filmmakers, all the YouTube help channels, stuff like that, just interact in their tweets. You know, if your you know, Twitter handles video content creation, some people will, you know, trickle over and look at your Twitter account and make sure that you have your YouTube channel linked there, or that you have a contact page so that, you know, when somebody clicks on your link that's in your Twitter bio, then they can see your YouTube up there at the top. They can see, you know, like your Instagram, you know, your website, you know, that sort of thing as well. Those things are awesome, by the way. If you don't use one of those, you definitely need to. Not just you specifically video content creation, but like everybody. Okay, so next up on our list, we've got
Super Chat.
I love Cody09. I see what you did there. I feel like I love Cody09 now. Says, hey Nick. Hey. Says, I have extreme anxiety. I don't know how I will deal with dislikes or negative comments once my channel launches. Any advice? Yes. My next video that's going to be published either tomorrow or Monday, that video is actually all about that. It's about having toxic viewers and how to handle with toxic viewers. And it's not just, you know, hey, just go block them or delete them or whatever. That's part of it. But I also talk about, you know, just in terms of, you know, framing how it is meant, you know, how you mentally frame how those people are coming at you. You know, I talk about that sort of thing as well. So make sure you check that video. But little spoiler here, I'll go ahead and walk down that road. So when it comes to comments on YouTube, you are going to have trolls. You're going to have people that are going to come in and say horrible things about you. You're going to also have people that come in and say awesome things about you. So an important thing to make sure that you're doing, and I didn't mention this in the video, but I should have, an important thing to make sure that you're doing is focusing on the positive, right? Because the people that are not vibing with what it is that you're doing and the people that are, you know, just coming in and trolling and all that stuff, like they're not who you want in your community anyway, because they're negative and, you know, they're saying bad stuff and all that. So because of that, you know, like you don't even want them in your community. So just look at them as kind of like, okay, whatever, you know, eventually, you know, as long as you don't give them any attention, eventually they'll just kind of move along and then they'll go troll somebody else. So first, just consider that. Second, just know that you can block people from your YouTube channel. There's a 3-dot menu next to every comment on YouTube. And all you have to do is click on that 3-dot menu. And when you click on that 3-dot menu, you're going to get the option to remove a comment if you just want to remove it. And then you can also have an option to hide user from channel. And when you hide user from channel, they can come into your channel and say anything that they want, but you're never going to see it. Nobody else is ever going to see it. So that's the best way to do it, because in that situation, you don't even have to worry about it, but you do unfortunately have to see the comment first, but that happens no matter what. Right. So, so because of that, I would just ban them from the channel when people come in and they're rude to you. In addition to that, there's also something called a blocked words list. So in the blocked words list, if you go into your YouTube studio, and you can do this on a phone also, if you happen to be on a mobile device, make sure that you're using Google Chrome. Make sure that you're using Google Chrome in desktop mode. And when you use it in desktop mode, even though you know, it's the app, when you use it in desktop mode, it's going to allow you to get access to the full YouTube Studio backend. So you can have full YouTube analytics. You can access all of the settings and all that stuff. So you use that to actually get into the backend if you're on a mobile device. And then you can put whatever words or phrases that you don't want to have shown publicly on your channel. You can put those in that blocked words list. Hopefully that helps. But one thing that I do want to say really quick, though, just as a quick side note on that, you know, since you do have extreme anxiety, I do just want to like high five and fist bump you for, you know, even though you have that anxiety, pushing through it and having the courage to, you know, put yourself out there and put yourself on YouTube, because a lot of people in your same exact situation, they wouldn't do it because they would be too afraid or just their anxiety wouldn't let them. So, you know, the fact that you're pushing through that and you're doing it anyway because it's something that you really want to do, you know, I like high five and fist bump to you on that one, and I wish you the best of luck with your YouTube channel, because you know you're courageous by taking that step, and I hope that it does well for you. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we've got Happier on a Horse. Happier on a Horse says, my channel just became eligible for monetization. Pros and cons of turning on AdSense now versus waiting. If I turn it on now, what combination of ads do you recommend? Thanks for your great content, Nick. My pleasure. Glad that you are enjoying the videos. So Happier on a Horse, when it comes to your AdSense, go ahead and turn it on. So a few things to just keep in mind when you are, when you are turning on your ads is if you happen to be using YouTube for business. If you're using YouTube for business, then in that situation, you do want to consider, like if I'm running ads on my videos, if I'm running skippable ads or non-skippable ads on my videos, that does create a little bit of a barrier between a potential customer and me, right? Or it creates that wall, so to speak. So because of that, if you're using it for business, then in that case, you can kind of balance it out because ad revenue can add up, substantially over time. But when you are, like just starting and you're not making a lot off of ads, then in that situation, it might be better to not show those particular ads. You might just want to have the default that shows up, and you might also want to have the overlays that show up as well, and then just kind of leave it at that. So that people are not getting interrupted before they actually come into your content. In terms of turning them on now versus waiting, turning them on now just so you can go ahead and just start, getting a little bit of ad money coming in, and then as that ad money's coming in, just start putting it aside because you have to hit $100 threshold to get a payout on it anyway. So just put that money aside, and then later you can, collect that money so that you can reinvest it into your channel to get better, equipment and things like that. Maybe go to conferences or, those sorts of things, so that you can just kind of reinvest into what it is that you're doing with your YouTube channel. So I would definitely turn them on. I would definitely turn them on now. And in terms of the combination, if you're not using YouTube for business, then in that situation, I would use the skippable ads on the front because that's where a majority of the ad revenue comes from. I would also use the default one. There's nothing you can do about that. And then I would use the overlay ads. Me personally, I don't like to use the sponsored cards because I like to control. That specific thing. So the skippable ads, the overlay, and then of course the default. Those typically work out well. If you want to, you can also put in mid rolls. They do generate more revenue, but then, in your situation, based on what it is that you're trying to accomplish with the channel, just think about, that revenue, of course, it's important. However, the interruption, what's more important to me? Is it getting those extra ad views, or is it giving a great experience to the people that are enjoying my content? And some things that will help you work through that decision are, if you look at in your stats, you're going to be able to see how much watch time you're getting from subscribers versus non-subscribers. So if you are focused on like subscriber counts, trying to grow the channel, then in that situation, having, a little bit less of those, might be the win. If you are getting more non-subscribers, just so that you can, more easily, just so same exact things. You're not creating that wall before that person gets to finish your content. Viper, man about tech in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Let's see here. Next up on our list. Just scrolled up. Let me go scroll up. I just lost it. Let's see here. I saw it in here. Got one brick at a time saying, don't feed the trolls. Viper dropping fire. Whoo, dropping fire. Okay, so next up on the list here, and I'm going to refresh the page. So Christina Smallhorn, just really quick on that blocked words list that I was talking about. She says she has 2,000 words in her blocked words list. I would love for you to send that to me. I have a blocked words list as well, and I actually have that blocked words list as part of the course that I'm releasing. It's in one of the docs that are in there. I would love to see what's in your list. Let's see here. Hey, Elena, hope that you're doing great. Let's see here. Matt's RV Reviews.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. I'm going to refresh the page here just to make sure I didn't miss any over on this side. And then we are going to get to the next question here in the form. So next up on this list, we have Equestrian Cat. And Equestrian Cat says they upload when they have time. They have a channel where they have hamsters, horses, and cats. The goal is just a hobby. And the question is, whenever I upload a video, no matter what settings I choose, made for kids, not made for kids, I always somehow have the comments disabled. Even if I comment on the video right after I post it, this is a problem for me since I don't know what kinds of videos my subscribers enjoy since I can't have feedback. So in terms of the videos that your subscribers enjoy, that will be based on audience retention. That's where you're actually going to uncover that information. The direct comments are helpful, but the thing that really matters is the audience retention, because the people that are in your comment section, you're going to have people saying, you're going to have some people saying like, hey, this is great. You're going to have some people saying that it could be better. And you're not really going to know, like, who should I listen to, because everybody has different tastes. The way that that you find out in terms of how the masses are responding to what it is that you're doing is just look at your audience retention, and that will tell you how you're doing in your videos. But in terms of your comments being turned off, make sure at the channel level that you don't have it set for kids just by accident. So some people will have it set for kids and they won't realize it. And when they go through, even though they hit select no, then it might default to the yes. So go into your YouTube settings in your YouTube studio. Basically, if you're going in on a computer, down in the bottom left-hand side, once you're in your YouTube studio, you're going to see a little settings icon. Hey, got everybody. Woo. Now I get to punch everybody in the arm. If you're familiar with that joke, give me a hashtag yes. But anyway, when it comes to that little gear icon, got you again. I got you again. But anyway, when it comes to that gear icon, if you click on that, a little dialog box is going to pop up, or a little box. And in that box, you're going to see the option to just additional settings. And in there is where you can find the upload defaults. In your upload defaults, you can go ahead and add things to your description, things like that, so that you don't have to keep copying and pasting in your description every time. But that's also where you set the for kids or not for kids, or choose for every video. Let's see here. Next up on our list, and I'm going to refresh the page over here because we had some more come in. Let's see here. Okay, so we've got no cash or crashes. Do you need $100 super chat before you can collect? No. All you need is for your YouTube ad revenue is in order for AdSense to pay you out, there's a threshold that you have to hit. So you just have to generate $100 in AdSense. That can come, your super chats can be a part of that. But it needs to all accumulate to $100 in order for you to get to get paid on it. Let's see here. Let me scroll down, and we've got
Super chat.
Daniel Kuzmenko says, are you and D both expats? If so, what convinced you to move? Yes, we are. Just a different lifestyle is all it is. I actually came over here to visit D, and I was like, wow, no wonder you're staying here. just because it's an awesome place. So it's not that I have anything against America. I love America, and the opportunities that's available there is great. Life in general is easy in America compared to most places that I've been. So because I love America. However, just the lifestyle here is a little bit different, a lot different actually, compared to over there. Let's see here. Monroe Backwards says, if my channel is too much for YouTube, what is the best way to promote my channel? I don't understand the question there, because it's not necessarily that it's too much for YouTube. All you have to do is optimize your content so that the right people that you're trying to reach can find it. And if you do that, and those people find it and they respond positively to your content, then in that situation, YouTube will show it to other people that use YouTube like those people that respond positively. Like I mentioned before, I just kind of breezed over it, answering another question, but one of the things that YouTube tells us is they tell us that the algorithm follows the audience. And what that means is when people respond positively to something, the algorithm that everybody's trying to get into, or that everybody's trying to game, or whatever it happens to be, as soon as people start responding positively to something, then, the system identifies that, with every single viewer that goes through, like, hey, people are responding positively to this. So since people are responding positively to this, based on the way that those people use YouTube, let's test this against some other people that watch content like this that also use YouTube in a similar way. That's kind of how the whole thing goes together. So it's not that your content's too much for YouTube. You just might not have been able to get people to respond to what it is that you're doing yet. Don Weathers, thank you for the super chat. And really quick too, like if you haven't been able to get people to respond, one thing I want to tell you is don't freak out about it. Don't stress out about it. Just try to go through the process of learning how to get people to respond to what it is that you're doing. So it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong, or that you're missing anything or anything like that. The idea is just that, when you first start, there might be things that, depending on the things that you came onto YouTube with in terms of, life skills, there might be things that you have to add to that skill set in order to be able to get people to respond positively to what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. Amit
Superchat.
Panchol says, I have a chess channel, just crossed 100 or 11,000 subscribers with 60% retention and 6% CTR. How to attract new people and accelerate progress. So first off, look at your retention and your CTR on a video by video basis, not on a across the channel basis. And the reason for that is because that is those are two of the most important things that are going to impact, how those videos get shown everywhere. So when it comes to attracting new people, that comes down to the value that you're adding. If you've got 11,000 subscribers already, you already know how to add value to people. People are receiving what it is that you're putting out there. So you're on the right path. In terms of accelerating things, like this situation right here, how you're saying that 60% retention and 6% CTR, make sure that you're looking at that on a per video level. Make sure that you're paying attention to where those numbers are coming from. And what I mean by that, if you go into your stats and you go to the reach tab for each video, and you see the upside down triangle, the funnel, that whole thing, then in that situation, one of the things that you're going to see, they're going to show you numbers there, but those numbers are averaged. So because of that, you want to go to your traffic sources for that particular video, and you want to figure out where your traffic is coming from. Now, once you figure out where your traffic is coming from, that's where you can start to see holes in what it is that you're doing. Because, for example, if you notice that, like all of your traffic's coming from search, then that tells you like, hey, I must not be, very compelling, because even though I can get traffic from search, that's kind of the low hanging fruit, right? Because, you're not competing with a bunch of people. People are specifically looking for the content that you have. But if you notice, hey, I'm not getting much, home traffic from this, I'm not getting much, suggested traffic from this, then that tells you that you need to work on being more compelling. Maybe you need to work on your thumbnails just in general, your overall packaging, or just the people that are coming in from those particular sources just might not be responding to your content the way that you would like. And because of that, that tells you that you have some changes to make in order to be able to get those people to respond in a better way for additional content that you upload. So those are some things that you can do to accelerate things. In addition to that, I have videos on creating a watch time trap. All it is, I call it a watch time trap. Other people call it a view loop. There's a bunch of different names for it. It just sounds fancy, but the idea is that you just make it easy for people to find more of your content, right? So when somebody goes and watches one video, you have clearly qualified them to be interested in what it is that you're doing topically based on them clicking on your video in the first place. So because of that, think of what it is that they might watch next, or another playlist that they might watch next, and then make sure that you're pinning that playlist, make sure that you're adding or video, make sure that you're adding videos and or playlists that are directly related in your end screens as well, so that you can, make it easy for people to find more of your content. YouTube's going to do it themselves if people respond, to stuff that's showing up in the sidebar or under the videos for suggested, either one for suggested. But the idea is that if you can kind of direct some of that traffic, then in that situation, you can start turning one view into two views. And then if you keep doing that through your entire archive, then you can actually create binge sessions where people watch video after video after video, because you're literally leading people through. Now, with that, a majority of people aren't going to go through that, but a lot of people will. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're making it easy for people to find the stuff that they care about based on the stuff that they're responding to already. Another thing as well, make sure that you fill out your channel page. This isn't something that's going to necessarily like move the needle in terms of blowing your channel up or anything like that. However, it is important, because when you set up your channel page properly, then that's another thing where it helps people find your content easier. So make sure that you are putting your content into playlists where the content is related to each other in terms of topic. And then you are adding those playlists as sections to your YouTube channel page, so that if somebody clicks on your username, they go to your channel page. Of course, they can click on the videos tab. YouTube already does the work for you there, but you also want it so if they scroll down the page, that you have your content organized for the people that are interacting with your content based on the things that they come to you for. So if you do all of those things, that's definitely going to help. Another thing that can help you accelerate things is, of course, paying really close attention. Even though you're getting 60%, try to push your retention to 70 if you can. That's going to help. If you're getting, if you're averaging across, all of your videos like a 6% CTR, keep working at it, right? See if you can get it higher. Like on my channel, like I'm constantly just doing like, different stuff or tweaking stuff, here and there for the sake of like, if I can get an extra like 2% on something, that's a win, right? That's a win. So because of that, just try to find little things that you can do and just, pay really close attention to your retention, so that you can see, where people are leaving for stuff. But as a side note, people don't have to watch your entire video for your video to do great. They just have to watch enough of it for YouTube to deem it as a quality experience. But the more they watch, the better off you're going to be, because you're collecting more watch time per impression in that situation. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Lawless Baron. When I see this channel name, I think to myself like somebody flying in an airplane with like the big goggles, where the whole thing's open and they got a scarf on and it's just kind of flying there. Probably because of like Red Baron pizza. Maybe that's the reason. But anyway, the question, Nick, lately my retention has been up a lot and YouTube has been pushing my content on the homepage. How long will it be pushed to the homepage and suggested until people stop responding to it? Until people stop responding to it, or until it gets saturated to where, like if you have a bunch of other people that are making content similar to you, then in that case, it makes it a little bit more difficult because then it becomes competitive. But as long as people keep responding to yours, then you'll keep getting traffic for it. Let's see here. Unity Beth, got that. We got a Mitt, Happier on a Horse, got that. We got I Love Cody, Video Creations, Funky Funkos, got that. Spice Climber, thank you for the super chat. Dylan Finance, got that. Soapbox Marketer, got that. Urban Explorer, okay, I think that brings us up to speed. We got Don Weathers there, just in case. Thank you, Don Weathers. We got a Mitt. Let's see here. LaRon Henderson,
super chat.
I have a tech tips channel.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
LaRon says, I have a tech tips channel. I noticed the drop-offs on my videos. I think it's because I'm not as entertaining as other tech channels. How can I increase my watch time on the videos? Things to experiment with are, if you notice, like when somebody first starts your video and you see like a big drop off right out of the gate, make sure that your audio is at least acceptable. Make sure that you're experimenting a ton in the beginning. Here's some ideas for you. If you are showing tech, a lot of tech people will start the video just with them, which is fine. Some people get, good response that way. Other people don't. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're experimenting. So things that I would experiment with is for that initial drop. Things that I would experiment with is you being on camera when the video first starts versus you being off camera when the video first starts. And when you're off camera, what I mean by that is you would have B-roll of the actual product that you're talking about. I would experiment with a few different things there as well. I would experiment with having the product while you're talking in the background, letting people know, what's going on. If that doesn't get a response, I would also try showcasing the video itself without any talking, maybe have some music playing there, and, put, a couple words on the screen, that sort of thing to kind of let them know like, hey, this is the thing that, that we're talking about, and then get into the actual video content as well. But I would definitely experiment with all of those types of things. Also, since you have the products and you are making content about the products, since you're on tech stuff, also with your B-roll, experiment with having, like, let's say that, you're making it about the phone, experiment with having, the B-roll of like the phone, by itself. Also experiment with having, you as the B-roll also, for the sake, it's like you, sitting there, like on the phone talking or whatever it happens to be, but you can still see the phone clearly or whatever product it is that you're bringing attention to. So practice with those sorts of things with the B-roll as well, for the sake of seeing what it is that the people YouTube is showing your content to, what it is that they respond to, better. But if you have a big drop off like this, for everybody that's watching this right now, if you have that big drop off when your video first starts, what you got to do, just first off, just know that, like a drop off is normal, but you just want to make sure you catch it as high as possible, right? That's the goal here. So when you are running those experiments, literally just try everything that you can possibly think of when it comes to, different types of things that you can show and different things that you can do. Also, if you do use music, if you end up finding out that people respond to that, also try different music. So you're showing some B-roll of the actual product that you're talking about. You got some music playing. If people respond good to that, then try it with like another type of music, see how people respond to that based on, how you want to put stuff together and the things that you like as well. But, experiment with all of those types of things to see what you can do to get people to respond better. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we've got, do I see the Organized Soprano in the house? What is up? I hope that you are doing fantastic. Hope that you're doing great. It's been a while. She's like, oh, that monitor. Yep. Yeah, I set up a camera today back here, and I was trying to get this shot over here. But unfortunately, just so you know, so you can see the kind of layout, because I talk about it from time to time, like right now, for example. But basically, I was trying to do that, but for whatever reason, I tried two different HDMI cords. They're long, and that might be the issue. I'm not sure, but I tried two different HDMI cords, but I couldn't get them to. I couldn't get the camera to work, unfortunately. Shame. All right. Let's see here. As we keep scrolling down the page, we got One Brick at a Time saying, hey, Nick, what's up? One Brick at a Time. I just started a channel about Lego building and just uploaded my first video. Do you have any tips on how to phrase my titles? Absolutely. If you're going after Lego builders, I'm not sure exactly what you're doing with Legos, but if you're going after, you know, people that are interested in Lego content, make sure that Legos are explicitly clear in your thumbnails, that what it is that you're doing with the Legos is crystal clear. Don't pollute it with a bunch of text and stuff. Just focus on the actual, like, you know, Legos or what it is you're building out of Legos and that sort of thing, without putting, you know, tons of text on there. If you want to add like a word or two words, that's fine. But go through the process, you know, especially since you're just getting started, try to get really good at expressing what it is that's going on and grabbing people's attention through the thumbnail, just using imagery by itself. Try to get good at that if you can. Having text in some types of content can be beneficial as well, and just like a word here and there, that kind of stuff. But I would practice getting people to, you know, identify that your content's about the about Legos clearly from just your thumbnail without you having to spell it out, essentially. In addition to that, on your titles themselves, just think about if you're making content about Legos, you obviously know what you care about when it comes to Legos. When you see other content on YouTube that's about Legos, think to yourself, okay, the stuff that I click on, the stuff that I click on, what is it about the titles that I see that grabs my attention in the Lego world? What is it about the titles that I see that grabs my attention? Do people use like certain words that typically pull me in? Is it just because they have Lego in the title? Is it, you know, with the whole packaging in terms of the topic, title, and thumbnail? Is it also to where, you know, just their whole packaging in terms of the thumbnail and title, you know, it's just explicitly clear to me that this is about Legos, and then they have something compelling about it that will pull me over. But just some quick tips for you on the titles. I would definitely make sure that you're using Lego in everything that you're putting out, just so that, you know, the viewers will know that it's Lego and not some off-brand or something like that. And so that YouTube knows that it's also Lego for the people that are into Lego content, so they can, you know, identify that it's something they might like. In addition to that, make sure that that word Lego is somewhere within the first 50 characters. So since that is something people care about, you don't want it getting cut off on any of YouTube's features. So because of that, make sure that it's as close to the front of the title as possible. In your case, I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're doing. I don't know if you're teaching people how to build stuff or what it is that you're doing. But since you're just getting started, you might want to consider, because it's the low-hanging fruit, like I was talking about before, you might want to consider, looking for things that people are looking for around Lego and optimizing those, for search, so that, your videos might pop up in search results as well. But when you are doing that, make sure that you're not just thinking search. Make sure you're optimizing for search, but then also sit back and look at it and start defining, like, okay, I'm optimizing this for search. However, I need to make sure that I'm adding enough to this. So in terms of making it compelling or interesting to people that are into Lego, I need to make sure that I'm doing enough with this in terms of the title and the thumbnail, so that when somebody sees it on their homepage, it's still something that is clear to them, to where it's like, oh, I need to see this video, or I want to see this video, or this is, oh, wow, this looks amazing, let me see this, like just make sure that you can define that thing in terms of the reason somebody should click either your thumbnail, title, or the combination of the two from home pages and suggested videos as well. Search is a gold mine in terms of traffic. However, majority of the watch time on YouTube comes from the recommendation features. So because of that, just make sure that you're balancing out and that you're optimizing for discovery in general, and not just only thinking about YouTube search. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we've got Decision of Power. Says Nick, Decision of Power. Says, good to see you again. Good to see you again as well. 232 subs in 3 weeks, growing fast. I have all criteria met for custom URL, but it's not been notified that my URL is available. Do you know how long it takes? I know it can take up to 3 weeks. You got 232 subs in 3 weeks, so I'm not sure when you cross that 100. But if you don't see it, if you don't see it now and it's already been like a few weeks, then in that situation, I would go to the Google help pages or just go to your YouTube studio, and then down on the bottom left-hand side, you're going to see a little help icon there, and send an email to YouTube support. Let them know that you don't see that in your back end yet. Let's see here. Next up, we got Adventures with Time. Says, I'm starting a second channel. Is it better creating a separate Google account or the same as my first channel? I would start at a Gmail account. Start at a Google account and go from there. So start at the Google account or the Gmail account. And then create everything new from there. So yeah, you definitely want to segment things, just because one, let's say for example, something ends up being weird on one channel, you don't want it to impact the other. Two, you don't know how things are going to go in the future in terms of you just getting super busy with both. So when you separate everything out, if you need to give like a virtual assistant or an assistant, however it works out, but you need to get somebody that works with you access to your channels, then in that situation, you can just give them access to one while you still run the other one, or however that works out. So it just makes everything easier to manage that way. Tommy T067, great question, says, I just hit 15,000 subscribers. Is that too soon to start selling merch? No, absolutely not. So here's my opinion on monetizing what it is that you're doing. When it comes to ads, when it comes to, hey, the Urban Astronomer, when it comes to ads, when it comes to, merch, when it comes to affiliate marketing, anything like that, in my opinion, I think that content creators should start doing that as soon as possible. And the reason that I think you should start doing that as soon as possible is because every video that you upload to the platform that is not, either sending somebody to like an affiliate thing or isn't spreading awareness about, your merch or whatever it happens to be. Every video that you upload to the platform that's not doing that is working. It's not working for you in terms of something that somebody could potentially get something from. So if you're somebody that wants to become a full-time YouTube content creator, or you just want it to be some side money in that situation, if you start implementing those things now, regardless of your channel size, for the one that just uploaded their first video, second video, you should implement this too. But the idea is that right now you're 15,000 subscribers. Go ahead and deploy all this stuff now, because as your channel continues to grow, then you're going to start having this content library, and all of the videos, or a lot of the videos, you don't have to do it with every single video, but a lot of the videos in your content library are going to be spreading awareness about a bunch of different things. Or at the very least, you'll have, description links and all that good stuff to where people, when they do explore down there, they can find those things as well. But definitely start doing that now, because then as your content library grows and as your channel grows and everything's going great on the channel side, your income also starts swelling along with your YouTube channel as well, because you have all of these videos out there that are bringing attention to those things that you have available. So because of that, definitely make sure that you start implementing those things right away for monetization. So, like I know, for example, of course, in your particular case, you should have the merch shelf now. So because of that, definitely make sure that you're hooking up like Spread Shop over there. You can also hook up Teespring, of course. But I would definitely, start doing that quickly. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we got Science-Based Fitness. Says, I'm making a lot of golf-specific training programs. I plan to have a video breaking down how to build your own training program. I want to add a link to a purchasable file. How would you do this? Should I send them to my website? Yeah, so if you want to send them a purchase, just like one file that they can download, you can add a WooCommerce. If you're using WordPress, you can add WooCommerce to your website, and then you can send them there. Really easy to set everything up through PayPal or through Stripe, or both, where they would have the option, and then they can purchase that file directly on your website. Other things that you can do is you can use a service like SendOwl, for example. That's what I use for my Pad Planet, which is my iPad video planner. If you have an iPad, I got a link to that in the description. It's awesome for just planning out your content, where you can kind of map everything out. Also notes and stuff like that in there. But when it comes to them being able to purchase it with SendOwl, all you do there is you upload the file. It comes with a monthly fee, but you upload that file to Sendow, and then you just connect your PayPal account, and then basically, you put the package together that you're offering, and then you can just send people directly to that through the payment link, and you can have that payment link coming directly from your website as well. Let's see here. So Costume CEO says, I have done poorly with merch. Maybe it sucks. Yeah. So with me, I don't push mine either. Like, people will still get it, and, it brings in some, but it's not something that I like go hard on, just because for me, like my main thing is like affiliate, related stuff. That does better for me than almost everything besides, the personal stuff that I have. But in terms of, other things that I have available, the merch is pretty low on my list as well, but it still generates revenue. Let's see here. T-Mad TV says, screw Restream. I'm moving to StreamYard. Yeah, they're competitors. So maybe I shouldn't have said that one out loud. Let's see here. So next up on our list, or maybe I should have, I don't know. No, I don't have any beef with or anything negative to say about them. Let's see here. So next up on our list, okay, I think that clears us up there on the super chats, and I can jump back into the forum here now. And before I jump into the forum, I'll just pull a question here just randomly out of chat. So if you have a question while I'm looking through here to make sure I got everybody, go ahead and drop your question in here, and we'll see what I can do to answer that. Let's see here. So Tarot Sense says they dropped a super chat. Thank you for that. 49ers Ultimate Report says, thank you for the content. It's helped me. Thank you. Another super sticker from Tarot Sense. Thank you. Let's see here. Another one from Indie Sun 90 says, my reaction channel is 1 month old, and I have 220 subs and 50,000 channel views. Is that good for being 1 month old? Absolutely. Yeah, you're smoking me. Like for me, it took me 5 months to get my first 150 subscribers on YouTube. So in comparison to me, you're doing fantastic. You're like rocking, in comparison to me. Damon, well, welcome to the stream, man. Hope you're doing fantastic. KZ, thank you for the kind words there. Rock Climbing Grandma in the house. Hope you're doing awesome. What's up, Penny Morgan? Hope you are doing great as well. Okay, so next up here, I'm going to pull this one from the chat, like I mentioned. Let me scroll up. Let's see here. Okay, so Nostal Gamation says, hey, Nick, morning. Hey, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Says, I'm a gaming streamer here in YouTube, released every weekend. I now have 146 subscribers, but I'm having trouble in gaining 4,000 views because I always stream for 2 hours long. What can I do? So you actually need, if you're trying to get in the partner program, you actually have to get 4,000 hours of watch time. So it's not 4,000 views. What you're actually chasing is 4,000 hours of watch time, not views. So you're going to need, those views in order to get that. But basically, if you're just streaming, one time on the weekend and you stream for 2 hours long, it's probably gonna take you a while. So because of that, I would just consider if you can work it into your schedule, if you can have any like short form content that you can put out there that is better suited for a replay. Because when you think about it, with a 2 hour commitment, when somebody clicks on something, that's pretty heavy commitment that you're asking from people, especially, hanging out, watching a game and things like that. So because of that, I would definitely try to think of some shorter form content that you can make in addition to that live stream that you do, if possible, if that fits into your schedule. Let's see here. So, Canado Finance says, I have 680 subscribers and I currently make $2,500 a month on Patreon. So for everybody that's asking about, hey, when should I monetize? Read this. We'll read it again together. Canado Finance says, I have 680 subscribers and I currently make $2,500 a month on Patreon. So the money's out there. You just have to, think of what you can offer, so that you can, get it, so to speak. But it's definitely possible. Let's see here. Dark One Flash Streams is a great question. How to get people to accept me even though I'm young? So first, I just want to say that right now, don't worry about it. Like, do your thing. Don't worry about acceptance from other people. Do your thing and let everybody else catch up to you, right? Because what you don't want to do, especially on YouTube, is you don't want to bend how you are and who you are and the things that the way that you are and the things that you care about and don't care about and all that. You don't want to bend all of that stuff for the sake of acceptance on YouTube. So the best thing that you can do right now that will help you stand out more than anybody else on the platform, or more than anybody else that you're competing with, the best thing that you can do is to just do you, right? Be you, do things the way that you do things, act the way that you act, and be yourself, and then just let everybody else catch up. Okay. So don't worry about being young. As you continue to do this, you're going to, like, the fact that you're young and you're on YouTube, you're learning how to do all of this, content creation stuff. So because of that, if you lean into that and you start, you have your YouTube channel, as you progress through all of this stuff, you'll probably end up having, other social media accounts if you don't already, and you're learning that process of creating cool stuff for the internet. So like you're like, the experience that you're going to have, or that you're preparing yourself, I should say, for the future is pretty awesome. So because of that, the best thing you can do is just focus on being yourself and giving yourself, so to speak, and then let everybody else catch up to what it is that you're doing. Because the way that all this stuff works is the people that dig you and that dig your personality and all that stuff, you're going to connect with those people. The people that don't, then, you don't want them in your community anyway. Like, you don't want to be faking it, or you don't want to be, adjusting for that acceptance. You just want to do you. And then the people that do respond to you positively, that's cool. Those are your people, right? And the people that don't, that's fine. There's 7 billion plus people on the planet. It's fine. You don't have to please everybody, right? You just want to connect with the other people that, that are like you and into the stuff that you're into. Yoga Bliss Dance, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Tim Wolf, thank you for the super chat. Also, Tim Wolf,
welcome to the Nimminati.
Yeah, I saw that earlier, and I forgot to trigger that, but I just remember when you sent that. So make sure next time you're on Facebook, you look for Nimminati VIP. That is our members only Facebook group. That is going to just make sure you fill out everything on the way in, because that's where all the fun happens here around the channel when it comes to looking at channels and stuff like that. Timeout PH says Nick is one of the people to help my YouTube channel grow because of his amazing tips here on YouTube. Thank you for the kind words there, Timeout PH. Hope that you're doing awesome. And I'm guessing with the PH there that you are in the Philippines. So I just want to give a shout out to the Philippines real quick, because I've been to the Philippines a handful of times. Love it over there. It's an awesome place. So it's awesome to have you in here, and it's great to get that feedback. Next up on our list here, we've got Michelle Hill, aka Sweepstakes Mom, says that I'm a mod in a few channels. What won't YouTube stop allowing trolls from copying people's profile pictures and using the same username? That happens here. We just reported somebody last week here because somebody was doing that here as well, trying to sell like crypto stuff or whatever. So that happens all over the place. I think the reason that they don't like stop people is because, there's a lot of YouTube channels that have like the same names and things like that. So like maybe it's just hard for them to detect until somebody reports it. I don't know. But yeah, I think it sucks also, but it's one of those fun things of the internet that we have to deal with. Escula Culinaria TV. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And we've got Intrepid Dawn. What's up? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Says Nick, I love the monitor. I have one myself. How do you like it? I love it. The only thing that I don't like about it is the monitor arm. So this thing here is cool, right? Like the stand, but I really want to get the monitor arm for this. But the monitor arm that actually holds it, it's like $500 for the arm. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just because of the curve and all that stuff, how the center of gravity is all off and all that. I'm just like, you know what? I'll just leave it on the stand for $500. I'll keep the stand. Right. But that's the only thing that I don't like about it. Because I would love, like, here during the live stream and when I make videos, because I'm still getting all that stuff together here, just trying to find out the good spots for the content. In the meantime, I'm just making videos all over the place. But the thing with the monitor arm is I would love to be able to take this, and I'll change this view so you can see it, but I'd love to be able to take this when I'm streaming or making videos and just like move it over to here, right? But because of, how it's set up, I just can't do that, right now, but it's not worth $500 for me to be able to do that. So, Let's see here. Next up, we've got Eric Wait in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Rock climbing grandma, digging the monitor. Thank you. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got D.A. Damson. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it there, D.A. Damson. Okay, so I'm going to pull this next question here out of the chat, and then out of the, hey, Renee Ritchie, what's up, man? Out of the forum, and then after this one, then I will pull one out of the chat as well. Kupasa MLB is the name of the channel here. The question, or the type of channel is a sports channel. The goal of the channel is to become the biggest baseball media company in Spanish all over the world. I love that. Absolutely love that. Ambitious. Awesome. Says, we disabled the non-skippable ads since we started monetizing the channel. Now we think it was a mistake. Could you tell us what kind of ads are recommended and their pros and cons? We feel that we lost money daily because of this. Yeah, so when you're using skippable ads, in that situation, you can, get ad money from them. But that does create that barrier between people and your content. So because of that, using the skippable version is the way to go. So you have to balance out, like, what is it that we want? And if we're just focused solely on, like growing our channel in terms of subscribers, because you want to be the biggest, then in that situation, you need to consider that, a skippable ad, that's not going to, cause as many people to leave. So because of that, you're going to create more access into your YouTube channel for people to be able to come, dig the content, love what it is that you're doing, subscribe to the channel, come back, watch more and all that good stuff. But for every non-skippable that you have, of course, not every viewer that's coming in is going to see that non-skippable, but for the people that do, some of those people will split. So if you're trying to just focus on subscriber growth, then in that situation, you might want to, avoid creating that wall between you and the people that click. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we've got the Eternal Samurai. I wish I had like a to play, but I just did it with my mouse, so that'll work. Says, hey Nick, what's up? The Eternal Samurai says, I'm a new Sonic YouTuber. I use TubeBuddy and currently have 89 subs. Sometimes I think that I overthink my video titles. Any tips? It's good that you're putting a lot of thought in your video titles. So here's what you want to do. So there's a website that I use for this. I share it in my members only group on Facebook from time to time in the streams that I do there. And people, dig it, but it's called Online Character Count. You can use anything. You can use any online character counter for it, but it's called, actually it's like charactercountonline.com, I think is what it is. But basically you want to use that when you're putting your titles together so that you can make sure that the thing that would be most important for the viewer to see, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people to respond to what it is that you're doing. So the thing that is most important for the viewer to see, make sure that that's within that first 50 characters of the title, so it doesn't get cut off anywhere on YouTube. In addition to that, be compelling. And what I mean by compelling is a lot of people will write titles and it's just like a base title of what's going on in the video, but there's nothing there that would make somebody think like, oh, I need to watch this video, or I should watch this video, or I'm curious what's happening in this video, or wow, you can do all of that in under 4 minutes. Click. Right. So just try to also be compelling when it comes to your titles, because, getting people to click on what it is that you're doing is going to be, the life or death of what it is that you do here on YouTube. But in addition to that, also, instead of just looking at your titles, think to yourself, okay, my thumbnail and my title, they're working together to get the click. So think of how you can use them together. Instead of just looking at only the title, only the thumbnail, look at both and think of how you can use them together. Thumbnail stopping them in their tracks, titles pushing them over the edge, or thumbnail stops them in their tracks and pushes them over the edge in terms of click. That's what I mean. But the idea is to basically optimize your title so that the humans can see what they need to see, that are interested in the type of content that you make. And then of course, make good thumbnails for that as well. But it's okay that you obsess over your video titles. Keep doing that. Keep obsessing over your video's title. Keep thinking about it. And when you are thinking through your titles, don't just think it through, write them down. So open up a notepad on your phone or on your computer and literally just start working through titles. Right? Work through titles, work through 10 titles, 15 titles, 20 titles, 50 titles if you need to, until you whittle it down and you're like, yeah, this is it. This is the one that I think people will respond to. This is why I think they'll respond to it. This is what my thumbnail looks like. This is going to grab their attention here. My title is going to be a perfect fit for this thumbnail. This is definitely going to work because of fill in the blank, right? And if you can't fill in the blank, keep working at it until you can. Because you got to be able to define why you think somebody will click on it in order to give yourself the best shot, because if you can't define it, then you can't expect other people to see, to be interested in it. Let's see here. Doug says that I have an earlier super chat from Nick's Fan TV and I didn't see it. Oh, here we go. So Nick's Fan TV says, do you see YouTube building a Clubhouse-like feature? I don't know. I think Clubhouse is awesome. I think that it's addictive. So because of that, I think that it would be cool. Somebody mentioned that, I think, in last week's live stream too. But I think that it would be cool to have something like that in YouTube. However, I'm just not sure, with all the different features, I'm not sure where they would squeeze it in. I'm not sure, but I think it would be cool. So we could do all that stuff here on YouTube. But one of the things about Clubhouse that makes Clubhouse cool, though, but I guess it would still work that way here on YouTube. But one of the things that's cool about Clubhouse is you can go there and you can, learn about anything, based on, all the different rooms that are created. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Escuela Culinera TV. Thank you for the super chat. It says, I'm doing YouTube Shorts, and the first 2 videos got around 500 views. Any recommendation for YouTube Shorts? Same exact thing as the video content. You just got to make them good. You also want to wait a little bit, because sometimes when you publish them, they don't do great right away. But then they'll hit the short shelf, like a week later, 3 days later, a couple of weeks later, whatever it happens to be. So you might have only gotten 500 views now, but you might end up getting a lot more down the road. But make sure that when you are writing the titles for those, because the titles do show up on the short shelf as well. Here, let me show you real quick. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it already too, but here, let me go to a home page, refresh, scroll down to a shorts shelf. We got stories, keep on trucking, shorts. Yeah, so like right here, you can see titles show up there, right? So what you want to think about is you got to do the same thing in terms of like, how can I be compelling here? How can I make this to where somebody's like, yeah, you know what, I want to check this out based on the title. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we've got, let's hear, Big Rig Jiggin says, I got monetized on live streams. Thanks for your previous advice there. Awesome to hear. Fantastic. Let's see here. That's good. That's good. Monetized during the live streams. Next question that we have here on our list, and I'm hopping into the form for this one. Then we're going to hop right back into the chat. This one's from Nody Buddy. Says they do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to help my audience in regards to any gaming walkthroughs or gameplay. And it's my dream to reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, AKA the partner program. So let's see here. The question is, hey, Nick, hope you're doing great. Hope that you are also doing fantastic. My question is that I'm working on gameplay walkthrough videos, but when it comes to keyword research, the keyword results, which I get from TubeBuddy or vidIQ, is not searchable or not ranking. Though there's a good amount of videos posted or made on that topic, which are still searched till date. In such case, what should I do to get good keyword for my videos, which can rank? Here's the thing. When it comes to your videos showing up in search, the same rules apply. So just because you optimize your videos for a specific search term doesn't mean that you're going to end up showing up in search long term. What that means is you're trying to, but at the end of the day, it's all based on how people respond. So let's say if we put this into a real life scenario, let's say that I make a video on coffee cups and you make a video on coffee cups. We're reviewing the same coffee mug, right? Then in that situation, we both publish a video and both of those videos show up in search to a particular user or just a handful of users. That's called an impression when they show up there. So when they show up in search and you get that impression, you're competing with my video. In that situation, if people start clicking on your video when they show up in that search result because it's more compelling than mine, maybe it's shorter, maybe the promise with your thumbnail and title is way better than mine. Maybe once they get into the video content, it's just awesome compared to mine. So because of that, we're both competing for that same term. But if people are clicking on yours more and they're watching yours for a fair amount of time, let's say they're further engaging and sharing it and stuff like that, but mine is just getting like a lot less clicks. People aren't watching the video for a long time. Maybe they bail right when the video first starts and then they come back and they click on yours. Then in that situation, mine is just going to go boop, 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 and it's just going to fade away, where yours is going to end up, being solidified in some of those spots. It might drop a little bit, but then it'll end up coming back. And then you can you can come up in search results on quite a regular basis when people are looking around for things. So it comes down just like every other feature on the platform. it comes down to the response that you can generate from the users of the platform. So it comes down to that response that you get when YouTube shows your content to somebody. It doesn't matter if it's search results. It doesn't matter if it's in the suggested videos. It doesn't matter if it's on home pages. It all comes down to the results that you're getting or the response that you're getting from what it is that you're putting out there. So let's see here. Next up on the list, Insane McLean in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Little Crafty Nook. Hope you're doing great. My E-Class and Bites. What is up? Hope you're doing great. So let's see here. Next up on our list, let's pull this one from the chat. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the chat right now, and we will see if we can get it answered. I'm just going to pick one randomly, of course, and then we will go back into the form here as well. Get some of them questions coming in. Yeah. So let's see here. Waiting for them questions. We got Driver Sensei saying, "Hey Nick, is it a good idea to unlist a private live stream or unlist or private past live streams? If so, why do live streams ever pop up a suggested video for users?" This is a great question. So for anybody that live streams, first you should be using StreamYard. Plug, right? But if you are a live streamer, some things to consider when it comes to your replays. If your video or your live stream, first off, it will get suggested, right? Your live stream will get suggested. It will show up on some home pages. What happens from there is going to be dependent on what happens in the content. So you can have live streams get tons of views on them. However, those live streams that get tons of views on them will happen usually because the replay is awesome. What I mean by that is in a lot of live streams, just like this one, like this particular live stream, it's really kind of like a Q&A, and there's no real direction. Like this is all generated by you in terms of the direction that we go with this live stream, which makes it kind of fun, at least fun for me, because I don't know what I'm getting into every day or every Saturday when I start streaming. But because this is all controlled by you in terms of the direction that we go based on the questions that you asked, there's no real way to package this video up outside of, learn about YouTube, learn how to get views, learn all the things about being a YouTuber, things like that. So because of that, when this gets shown to people, like afterwards and it gets suggested, people do still come in, like I'll collect an extra, 3,000 to 5,000 views from this live stream, for example, after the stream is over. However, one thing that I don't do is I don't actually showcase these. So if I didn't have guests on a regular basis, I would make these unlisted again like I used to. And the reason for that is because when somebody comes and they start interacting in my channel, I want them to see the content, my best content, which I believe is the video content, where they can watch something for, 3 to 10 minutes and they can walk away with something actionable that they can do with their YouTube channels. Or they understand how to use a piece of software or whatever it happens to be. But that particular content, my video content, the value there, it's just crystal clear. It's packaged in a way to where it's clear what it is that you're going to get and so on. So because of that, I would always unlist them because I didn't want these being suggested afterwards. But now, because I typically have guests on and things like that, I want to respect their time that they put into, coming onto the live stream. And because of that, I want to make sure that these stay publicly available for the guests that come on. Plus, people like I do get feedback where people like in like Clubhouse and stuff, people are saying that, they watch the streams after the fact and, they can't necessarily make it live, but they watch the replays and they get a lot of value from that and things like that. So it makes me want to keep them up, even if I didn't have guests on, but I personally, before we ran into the situation that we're dealing with in the world, I would unlist them. But then once I started having guests come on, then I made them publicly available. The reason is for that suggestions, so that when YouTube is suggesting my content to people that they think would be a good candidate for my videos, that they get the best content that's the easiest to consume. Instead of like this live stream, for example, where they might have to dig 5 minutes into it before we start getting into the actual like real juice of the live stream. In your particular case, also, if you don't want to focus on your live streams on your channel page, make sure that you're making a custom playlist for your uploads. So instead of just having the default uploads that shows your videos, streams, shorts, everything else, instead of having that, have a, recent videos or whatever it is that you want to call it, from, your channel. And then you can add all of your recent uploads to that, as you're, uploading them, for the playlist option that you have there. And then you can actually omit your live streams from that so that your channel page is actually focused on, in a similar way that I do, your channel's focused on the things that bring the most value to people, at scale. Now, if your live streams do that, then in that case, leave them where they do show up in the uploads. Other things in my particular situation that might be different from yours, these streams last like 3 hours minimum. So because of that, that's another thing to where a new viewer that YouTube might suggest this live stream to, that's a huge ask. Hey, yeah, why don't you come hang out for 3 hours? You've never seen my stuff before. You don't know what kind of value you're going to get out of it. Sit through like a whole section of where I'm talking about sponsors and welcome everybody to the stream and all that stuff. And you've never even seen my content before. You don't know what you're going to get out of it. It's a huge ask. So because of that, that's also a thing. But in your case, if your live streams are like 30 minutes, then in that case, it might be fine. You might end up getting tons of views on those over time. So those are some positives and negatives for both. Let's see here. So Escula Culinera says people think shorts will die out soon. Do you think that they will? No. So as long as YouTube keeps it as a feature, people are going to keep tapping into it. The reason that people are saying that they're going to, not start doing as well is because starting here in just a few days, they are going to update the YouTube app where if you're in the United States, you're going to be able to start doing shorts directly from the YouTube app instead of having to do like hashtag shorts and all that. So the competition is getting ready to go through the roof on shorts. So because of that, if you are doing shorts as part of your strategy of bringing attention to your YouTube channel, it's important to make sure that you're doing some cool stuff with shorts that is going to be competitive with everybody else because the competition is getting ready to flood in. As soon as that's available, that's when you'll start seeing right away. Some channels are just going to start blowing up like crazy. Other channels that were doing great with shorts are going to start like leveling off a little bit. It's going to be interesting as they roll that out to kind of watch what's going on. But again, as long as people are responding though, then you'll keep doing awesome. Brentaro card readings says, I have 33,690 subscribers. Things improved. When I made the titles and thumbnails more exciting, any help is appreciated to improve the counts faster. Okay. So, if you are currently, okay, so you improved the titles and the thumbnails. That helped. So the next thing you need to do is make it easier for people to find more of your content. The next thing you need to do on that note is to also plan your content out. So let's say, for example, you look at the month of March and you're like, okay, here's March. This is what March looks like on my content schedule. So in March, I'm going to publish these specific videos, but the videos that I'm publishing here, I'm publishing these first because I'm going to link to these and I'm going to recommend that people watch these from the videos that I publish, over the next 2 weeks, and start being more strategic with how you're trying to get people to hop from video to video so that you can kind of control how things are happening on the channel. And another thing as well, if you're trying to just generate subscribers, then in that situation, look through your content. You can see all this in your analytics. Look through your content, figure out which content is proven on your channel with the people that YouTube is showing your content to. Make sure that make sure that you know what content is typically driving more subscribers than other content, and make more of that particular content, or make sure that you're driving traffic to that content that typically drives more subscribers through the other videos that you make. In addition to that, make sure your channel page is set up properly in terms of, you have sections there with playlists where people can easily go find, other content of yours because you have it organized in a way based on the things that they come to you for. In addition to that, I would experiment with shorts right now too. I wouldn't do too much, but I would definitely experiment with it because, some people are having a lot of success with shorts. So if people are already responding to what you do, a shorts version of what it is that you do would definitely be worth, experimenting with. I wouldn't overdo it, but you definitely might want to give that a shot. Let's see here. But one other thing as well, on the videos that you have that currently generate more subscribers, not just more views and then it equals more subscribers because you get more views, but the ones that are clearly like, okay, I have two videos with 100,000 views on them or 10,000 views or whatever. On those particular videos, one, people subscribe to it at a substantially higher rate. Why do I think that is? And spend some time, thinking about that and trying to understand, the people better that are interacting with your content, so that you can lean into that in your future content in terms of topics, in terms of the things that you do in the videos, even down to the way that you ask people to subscribe. And while we're on it, let me give you some more. Also, at 33,000 subscribers, I'm guessing that you have a decent amount of content on your channel. So in your YouTube analytics, there's a feature called grouping. I would go in and I would start breaking down the different types of content that you have on your channel, and start experimenting with all kinds of different things using the grouping feature. So in the grouping feature, you can experiment with different things that you're doing in your thumbnails. You can experiment with different backgrounds that you're using. You can experiment with, the actual topics of the videos. Like if you have different categories of content, like using me for an example, since you're watching me right now, like I have live streaming stuff, I have mobile stuff, I have some mindset stuff, and I have, just direct growth related things. So because of that, when I'm, trying to figure out what's up on my channel, then I will break all of those things down, and that lets me know the things that people subscribe to at a higher rate, which oddly is not the YouTube help stuff. It's actually the tools that get people to subscribe here. But the YouTube help content adds the most value to people, I believe. So that's why I, continue to do that thing. But anyway, the idea is when you're using your grouping feature, you can start comparing content sets against each other. So you can compare videos, but you can also compare, a group of 10 videos or 20 videos against another group of 10 to 20 videos that are different in some way, so that you can start to figure out this content set drives more subscribers, this content set drives more revenue, this content set on average drives more views. So you can start, kind of fine tuning your content strategy based on the activity that's happening around your channel currently. All right. So next up on our list here, we've got, we're going to the forum for this one. Seth Perry says they do bi-weekly content. The question is, the channel is addiction recovery from a spiritual perspective. The goal of the channel is to enhance my career and have a volume of videos for future professional advancement. Like the next time I go through an interview process, I can refer the hiring committee to my YouTube channel. And the question is, I just did a channel makeover. I've updated most of my thumbnails. I'm working at improving my titles, created 3 playlists on my homepage that reflect my value proposition. I'm wondering what the next logical step for me to take regarding channel growth. So basically it seems like you're getting all the stuff taken care of from the outside. Now do that same thing that I was talking about in terms of grouping different content sets together to see what's performing best on your channel, see which things are driving more ad revenue, see which things are driving more subscribers, which things typically drive more engagement, which pieces of content typically drive more I mentioned ad revenue already, but which ones drive more subscribers. But basically just break it down and you'll be able to see based on whatever it is that's the most important for you on the channel, the things that are driving the most of that. And then of course you want to start, making that, but learning your analytics so that you can do those sorts of things is going to add a ton of value to you and to the channel as a whole. So I would definitely make sure that you're doing that. Let's see here, what else? Also the actual video content as well. So like right now you're doing all this stuff from the outside. That's kind of the easier stuff to do. So now I would also start digging in the actual video content, start taking notes on everything in terms of how people are responding to second by second of your video. If you notice, I have periods of time in this video where people seem to just kind of hold on and they watch. What am I doing during that period of time? I also have periods of time where people end up leaving, quite a bit. What am I doing during that time? And then you want to do that in a lot of your videos. And one thing that you're going to start to see is patterns for how you're doing things in your videos based on how people are responding. And then you can start making little adjustments to, the actual content itself. Adoption with Nairi.
Super chat.
Says I've created a lead magnet for a new email list. How do I promote this without messing with the audience retention on the video where I promote it? Mention it at the end. So mention it at the end of the video or somewhere close to the end of the video, because as soon as you mention it, you are going to have people leave and go and start, go and opt in for whatever it is that you're doing. So a few ways to approach this is one, of course, that particular video, that people are going to be leaving that video. So because of that, those videos can still do great, by the way. But when people are going to be leaving that particular video and that, then in that situation, just understand, I call that a money video, to where you're going to be driving people off platform for something. Basically, a money video is something that I know that I'm going to either drive people off platform with, or it's a sponsored video as well, or like a direct affiliate video. Those are my money videos. But basically, when you have those, then other things that you can do is when that video is published, that's fine. But then you got to think, and this is where that thing that I was talking about, like, drawing your content out for March as an example. And my Pad Planet video planner is a great tool for this. Link in the description if you have an iPad. But the thing is you have that money video. So you publish that money video, let's say the first of the month, or whenever your next video is. And then the next handful of videos that you have, try to drive some traffic to that particular video as well. So instead of just pushing that video out and having that as a standalone, have that one that you're causing the leak from YouTube, publish that video, have that there, and then have other videos also that you're not sending traffic off-site for, pushing to that particular video where you are driving people off-site. So then in that situation, you have that particular video that will do fine on its own, but then you have additional videos that are also driving viewers into that particular video, where then you can generate those opt-ins without fully impacting everything that's going on in the channel. Buddies DIY.
Super chat.
Thank you. I appreciate the super chat there. Much appreciated, or muchos gracias, I think is how you say that in Spanish. I don't know why I chose Spanish for that. Kop kun kop is how you say that in Thai language, for those of you that were curious how you would say that in Thai. Oh, fun. Okay, so next up, let me make sure this is aligned right so I can sit down. There we go. Okay, so next up on our list, we have... let's see here. We got Seth Perry taken care of. Next up, we've got Kyle Kranz. Kyle Kranz says they do daily content. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. It's plant-based run coaching. The goal of the channel is to bring in clients, add value, develop a community. And the question, just upgraded to TubeBuddy Legend. What are the 1 to 3 most important things I should dive into? The SEO optimizer, thumbnail A/B testing, and the click magnet. Those 3 things are going to help you immensely when it comes to just optimizing your videos in general. Also, when it comes to understanding what people are responding to in your thumbnails. The A/B testing feature is cool because in addition to being able to test thumbnails against each other, they show you a bunch of additional information. That is a bunch of additional information in terms of the traffic sources and how people respond from the traffic sources. They even show you, like, okay, thumbnail A, people watch for 5 minutes. Thumbnail B, people watch for 6 minutes. So then you can think to yourself like, wow, why would the expectation that I have from this particular thumbnail cause people to watch for a longer period of time? And then you'll start noticing things like that with what it is that you're doing, and then you can start getting a better understanding of how and why people respond to what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, I'm going to pull this one from the chat. So if you have a question, let's go ahead and just drop it in the chat right now. And I'll just catch a random one here, and then I will answer that, and then we will get back into the form itself. The form. All right. So let's see here. No questions, I guess. I'm just waiting for the delay. Fly Ride, what's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Hope you're doing great, man. Let's see here. So let's see. I heard that only the first 3 hashtags count, says my son's mother. So it's not that only the first 3 count. The first 3 are the only ones that display underneath the video. So the first 3 hashtags are the only ones that display. After 15 hashtags, the hashtags become irrelevant. So basically, when you're using more than 15, I think it is, it's 10 or 15. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's 10 or 15. As soon as you cross that line, then it's just like you're not using any hashtags because you're essentially spamming your own description. So the first 3 tags, just focus on 3, right? Just focus on 3 if you're going to use hashtags. Junkman, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciated bunches. Thank you. Costume CO, hope that you are doing fantastic. Thank you for the super chat as well. Saying, hey, Nick, I just love your positive attitude. It's so refreshing in this day and age when oftentimes we are bombarded with negativity. High five and fist bumps to you. High five and fist bumps back to you as well. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. On positivity, just to talk about it for a second, like, my thing is like, you can add to the world or you can take away from it. In terms of, like just your interactions with people in general. So one of the things that, that I think is just cool for people to do is just, try to be that person, because everybody has bad days. You don't know the people that you're interacting with, if they're having bad days or good days or, what it is. So, I just try to be that person that, might, either one, just to where I'm not noticed at all because, I'm not that person that's being, a jerk or rude or whatever it happens to be. Or to where, I can give somebody a mental break of like, that was refreshing. At least that person wasn't a jerk. You know what I mean? So, I just try to do that. Let's see here. Next up on the list, I see your message there, Doug. I will see. Looks like we missed one here from Alice Turner. So there it is. I see it. Alice Turner says any tips for channels that appeal to people for just a short time of their lives, like childbirth, subscribers only active for a few months. So you're looking at a channel, my channel. I also deal with that as well. So it's not that people are active on my channel for a short period of time. It's that the churn rate for people that want to be YouTubers is exceptionally high. So because of that, I focus on the people that are coming in as the main core of the content. And then in addition to that, I'll have additional pieces of content to make sure that the people that are already established can still also get value from the channel. So you just kind of have to balance things out in that regard. So if the entire channel is about childbirth, then you are going to have a lot of people over time, just like in my case. Like my average view per video based on the size of my channel should be much higher, but because of the churn rate, I have tons of inactive subscribers. You're going to end up in a similar boat. Embrace it. Don't worry about it. It's just part of the gig for the specific type of content it is that you're making. But if you do want to have, people come back, you could start talking, have like the core of your content is childbirth. So you bring people into your universe at that point in time. And then you could also have additional sets of content for people that are, a little bit further down the road as well. So you can, keep them hanging out and keep adding value to them for, at least a little bit of time past childbirth as well. Let's see here. So we have a super chat that came in. Let me see on the list here how we got it done. Fit Dad Chris, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. So Ukrainian Perspective with Veronica Olson says, hello, Nick. Hello, Veronica. Says, I have a Ukrainian dating channel for a long time, 5 years. If I do universal relationship videos, will I lose my niche audience? I don't think so. Because relationships are part of dating. Now, dating, of course, is that like, hey, we're just getting started part. Like I'm trying to find somebody. But once you do find somebody, kind of just like what we were just talking about, the relationship advice could be that bridge between the people that you're helping, come on and actually find somebody to like, in addition to helping you find somebody, I'm also trying to help you maintain those relationships that you find. But at the end of the day, one thing that's really important to understand is what it is that you're actually trying to do and who it is that you're trying to help. And in your situation, if you are just trying to help people, like find dates, then that's fine. Like you can just go all out on that, and that's totally okay. And then you can be like the person, about that. However, if you do want, people to keep coming back after they have that relationship, then making some content, I wouldn't like focus on it, but I would have some content if you are wanting that, that does talk more about, relationships, after you do find that date. Or if your content is about like dating and like getting somebody to, to date you, then in that situation, you're trying to teach them how to meet people, then the actual dating process itself could be the next, pieces of content that you make, or the next pillar of content you make, that I should say. And then after that, then you could also talk about, general relationship stuff. But at the end of the day, though, it's really making sure that general relationship stuff is also a good fit. And you're not going to lose your audience. Some people just won't respond to that content. So it's still along the same lines, like the people that you're teaching to, find dates. Once they do have those dates, teaching them how to nurture that into a relationship, or once they have the relationship, how to nurture that relationship. Then, you're basically taking people through the entire process, which is great. But then, at some point, there is a cutoff, because then once that relationship's fine and they're enjoying themselves, then they don't necessarily need your content, which puts you back on the side of like, hey, now I'm helping people, figure out how to get dates and stuff. Let's see here. As I scroll down, let's see a question out of the chat here. Let's see here. That junk man says almost at 20,000 subscribers. How important is tags? I see very little views based on use tags. My super chat didn't have the question. So when it comes to tags on videos, still use them because they are a feature. Once they are not important or they are irrelevant, YouTube will remove it, just like they do any other features that are irrelevant. So right now, continue to use the tags. The tags are not going to be something that that's going to move the needle for you. Like you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, my video blew up. Why did it blow up? Oh, because I use this tag. Like that doesn't happen. It's never happened. So, like that stuff is going to come from the response. But basically, you want to make sure that you are using those just for the context for the system. YouTube specifically on the Creator Insiders channel, one of the things that they say with tags, and this is directly from them, one of the things that they say is to if you have like your channel name and there's like common misspellings for it and things like that, you can throw those in your tags. So, just consider doing that kind of stuff as well. Let's see here. Junkman, thanks for the additional super chat, but I think we just got that one covered. Yeah, so the views due to tags. So basically the way that you can see like what it is that you're actually getting views for is just from the traffic sources themselves. So, like you might see you're getting traffic from search, you'll see you're getting traffic from suggested videos, from browse. And with all of those things, they're just telling you where the traffic's coming from. They're not telling you like why you got the traffic necessarily, with the exception of the little cards that they put into the Creator Studio for specific videos where it's like, hey, this video is taken off because people watch it for X amount of time longer than normal, and because people click on it more when we recommend it to them, those sorts of things, they do tell us that. But in terms of, views due to the tags, they've never shown that, even when tags were, more important than they are now. Let's see here. Unless you're saying hashtags. If you're talking about hashtags, then in that situation, there is a hashtag page that you can pull traffic from as well. If you're talking about hashtags, but if you're talking about just the tag box, that one is, still use it, but it's not like a huge deal. If you're talking about hashtags, you can actually pull traffic from hashtags, but that's also one of those things where you got to kind of balance it out and be like, okay, if I put this hashtag here, then it might cause a leak from my video into the hashtag. So because of that, it's not great unless I own a lot of those hashtags, or unless I own a lot of those results there. But if I'm just getting started, then in that situation, I can use the hashtag so that I show up on that page for the hashtag, so I can have people click on my videos. Christina Smallhorn.
Super chat.
Thank you. The email asknimmin@gmail.com. Excuse me. asknimmin@gmail.com is where you can email me that. Thank you. Or, we're connected on Facebook. You can just send it to me in Messenger. There also. Whatever's easiest for you is cool with me. But ask Nimmin if you're gonna email it. Thank you. I massively appreciate that. Let's see here as we continue on with the questions here. And let's see here. We've got Strike Man says they upload every other day. They do commentary content. The goal of the channel is reviewing software. And the question is, what's happened to the old editing like Filmora Pro, Hit Film Express? They're all there. Yeah, they're there still. Let's see here. So really quick, let me hit the share button or the invite button. I'm sorry. Just in case anybody from the group wants to come in. Give me 1 second. Hey, Professor Nez in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Oh, we are connected on Facebook. Christina, right now I see your message there. I knew we were connected there, but let's see here. All right. So while I'm doing this,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right, so I'd share this link. Not sure if anybody's going to come on or not, but the link is in there just in case they are. My life so far says, hey, Nick, I make life vlogs in my semi-truck, but quarantine has made my days very repetitive. There's only so many camera angles I can do around the truck. How do I go about finding similar channels to get new ideas? So when you are doing your vlogs, even though it's about the truck, like even though what you're doing is repetitive, you are still thinking new things and all of that in terms of the information that you can share, and just how your perspective on things and stuff like that. So you might want to start sharing just some general opinion things with your content. That might be something that people can do, like your thoughts on a particular thing. If it's trucking specifically and you have a lot of truckers watching your stuff, then you can talk about things, related to trucking and your opinions on those things that would resonate with those people if you're not doing that already. But in terms of camera angles, it's fine to do similar camera angles. Like you can see here, I've got, 2 camera angles here that I do in the live stream and the other place before I moved here. I had 3 and I'm actually working on a 3rd here. And once I get those locked in, like they'll stay that way for quite some time. With the angle for the videos themselves in that situation, like around the studio, like those angles will, be relatively consistent as well. So, one thing that's important to think about is when people come into the content, the camera angles aren't really as important, or they're not really important to them at all. I mean, it just kind of helps, kind of break up the scene. But the thing that's really important to them is, like in your case, because you're doing vlogs. So like in your case, the thing that's important to them are the things that you're going through, the things that you can show them. And then of course, your thoughts on things. So because of that, I would just lean more into that, and I would care less about the camera angles and more about expressing all the different ideas that you have and the different opinions that you have about things. Hey, we got Brian G. Johnson saying he's going to come in a bit. Sweet. Chef Andre, thank you for the kind words. You rock as well. Let's see here. Brian G. Johnson says, let me check my hair. Let's see here. That junk man says that they just got a Sony 6400 camera. If anybody's looking for a camera under 1,000, it's really great and does 4K. Yeah, this one's a 5100, but I'm also like, this one is a 65. Absolutely love the Sony cameras. Good streaming software. Great question. StreamYard is what I'm using to stream the stream right now. It's a great piece of software. It's super easy to use. They do all the heavy lifting on the cloud. So even if your computer sucks, it's still awesome because even with a bad computer, like they're doing all the processing. So you don't have to have a strong computer to make your stream look cool. Let's see here. By the way, for anybody here that listens to my podcast, just as a heads up, I started season 2. The first one published, I think Thursday or Wednesday, and the next one is auto publishing tomorrow. And then that's going to be continuing on for the next like 6 to 9 months until I take another break at the end of next year. So just as a heads up, if you do listen to the podcast, it's called Comments Over Coffee. If you don't, you can find that on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, or just go to commentsovercoffee.com/listen. And there you can, it'll pop up options of all the popular places where you can go and listen to it. Okay. So let's see here. Penny Morgan says, are you switching with Elgato devices? No. What I'm using is an ATEM Mini. So give me 1 second and I will show you.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So the thing that I'm using, it's just like this. This is an ATEM Mini, the thing that I'm using for the switching. But the one that I'm actually using is called an ATEM Mini Pro ISO. The reason that I have the Pro ISO is because it has recording capability, which since I've moved into the new place, I haven't set up the stuff to record because I have to like connect it to the internet and all that. But this is an ATEM Mini. This one, I think locally, this was like a little over $300. I think in the States, you can get them for under $3 off of Amazon, but it's called, you can see it right over here. ATEM Mini is what it's called, and it's made by Blackmagic Design. But it basically gives you the inputs, so I can change up to 4 cameras. When I connect the 2, then I can have 7 cameras, which is cool. But basically, you can connect up to 4 cameras on the one device. You can have a mic input directly into here if you want to. You can have like different transitions and things like that as well. Let's see here. Science-Based Fitness says, I've been uploading once every 6 days using random times of the day. The response seems very random. Would you recommend committing to a schedule? Yeah, if you can. If you can commit to a schedule, one, think of the lifestyle of the people that you're trying to reach and how that particular lifestyle might, like how, like, for example, if you're trying to reach, and I know you're not, but like for somebody that was trying to reach like, single parents, then in that case, publishing a video right when they'd be getting their kids ready for school might not be the best idea. Right. So just consider the lifestyle of the people that you're trying to reach with the content and, excuse me, and then pick a time, that's a good fit for, for those people.
Super chat.
Fit Dad Chris says, just wanted to thank you for doing what you do, man. You're awesome. Thank you, Fit Dad Chris. I appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the kind words as well. Thank you much. Mike Phillips in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Hope you're doing great, man. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got Syed Ayaman. I hope I'm saying that right. Says they have an entertainment channel. The goal of the channel is to make my parents proud. Oh, that's cute. That's awesome. Says the question is how to get a lot of content. You got to make it. You make it. So you start with your phone. If you don't have a camera, you start with your phone and build up from there. If you have a camera, you start with that and build up from there. You can also use webcams as well. You can also use friends' phones or cameras, whatever you got to do. Like if you're trying to make content, you're trying to, start that process, the very first step in the process is actually making the content. Let's see here. Intrepid Dawn says, I left YouTube 2 years ago. During that time, I made 3,000 total. Started 3D printing, made over 30,000 in 6 months. My channel is up to 10,000 subscribers. I want to pivot it to 3D printing. Any transition tips? So if you have content that's driving the channel that is not 3D printed related, like it's getting exceptionally more views than something else, you're going to take a short-term loss for a long-term gain in this situation. But if there's no crossover in terms of the people that are coming from that content that is driving the channel, let's say that it's like old gaming content in that situation. If it's like old gaming content, those people are not a good fit for the 3D printing, then in that case, unlist those videos. You can still have them in a playlist so that, people can still access them if they want, but it'll be unlisted from public view. It won't be getting recommended by YouTube. Actually, if it's in a playlist and it's unlisted, I just found out recently that the videos can still actually get recommended from YouTube. I had a video on a homepage. I did when COVID first started. I had a 30-day period to where I was doing a 30-minute meditation on another channel, just as a way to kind of help people kind of chill out and deal with what was going on at that time, and to help myself too, right? Like that was also like a way that I was able to, make sure that I was also, spending a little bit more time meditating than normal. And in that situation, all those videos are now unlisted. However, I got suggested one on my homepage the other day, even though it's unlisted. But I think that it's because it's in a playlist. So just be mindful of that. Let's see here. Perry, the Minecraft Playout says, is your brother D Nimmin? I'm confused, or is that your other channel? Yeah, my brother is D. My brother from the same mother, D Nimmin. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got, let's see here. Instead of doing the regular voice commentary, oh, where did it go? There we go. Deviant Jam says, instead of doing the regular voice commentary on my gameplay videos, I do text written commentary. Have you got any tips to make it interesting? Text written commentary, that's a rough road, man. Like text written commentary, because people have to actually sit there and read. If they want to read, they're going to go to a blog, right? So you're on YouTube. The expectation on YouTube is video content. So if possible, try to do voice commentary on what it is that you're doing instead of written commentary. Sometimes that type of stuff can do okay. But me personally, like I would just, if it was me, like I wouldn't even do that. I would just do the voice stuff just because I want to make sure that I'm giving the people on YouTube like what it is that they want from YouTube, which is typically, video content. Let's see here. Alice Turner says, can you speak about how to encourage people to support your channel with super chats and super stickers during live streams? Great question. So when it comes to having people or encouraging people to support your channel with super chats and super stickers during live streams, it often comes down to what it is that they're getting out of the channel or fun things that you can do around the channel with your audience. So for example, here, I used to do channel reviews, right? I would do channel reviews and I would do them for free, but people that gave super chats would go to the front of that line, just like right now I'm answering questions, but people that give super chats go to the front of the line, right? And the thing with people giving super chats going to the front of the line is, since people are paying for it, then I would be a jerk not to move them, to the front of the line. So, so because of that, the value that's gotten here is that when I was doing the channel reviews, it was kind of like a service. Like, hey, here's a super chat, and in exchange for that super chat, I would give the service of looking at the channel. With the questions, same exact thing. Like I'm answering them free anyway, but for people to get their question, to guarantee that their question get answered, just like in your case, when you give that super chat, I'm providing a service of sorts for that super chat, right? So think about things that you can offer. Also think about fun things that you can do. So for example, if you are, if you're doing, I'm not sure exactly what type of content that you do. Here, let me see if it's not obvious in the name. But depending on the type of content that you do, you might be able to do fun things to where, when people give you a super chat, you either answer a question or you might do something. Like, let's say, for example, for people that do crafting content or quilting content, super chats could actually dictate, the pattern, or it could dictate, if it was crafting, it could dictate the color being used, or, something like that. So, just try to get creative with your audience and to get them, doing that sort of thing. Other things that seem to happen, and you'll notice it here as well, is if there's no super chat activity going on, Brian, I'll bring you in right here in a second. If there's no super chat activity going on and then somebody drops a super chat, then typically that will bring it to awareness, like, oh yeah, we can drop super chats to ask questions or whatever the thing is. And then other people will start doing the same exact thing because that awareness has been spread, right? So, so also consider that.
Super
Mike
chat.
Phillips says front of the line. Nick Pass, thank you for being an amazing teacher, coach, and all-around human. Thank you, Mike Phillips, for the super chat and for the kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people from all over, the one, the only Poodle Wrangler, Brian Gandalf Johnson.
Hey, what's cracking? How we doing?
Nice to see you in here, man. Awesome to see you live streaming, man. You're live streaming the other day. That was fantastic.
That was awesome, dude. It was so good to be back. Like, I got to tell you, man, I really missed it.
Yeah, live streaming it's addictive, man. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. As you can tell. I mean, come on. Right? Do I have to even say that, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's funny just because, like, I'm really still getting used to everything because everything has changed. It's amazing how fast things change here on the platform. Back when I started, everybody watching, Nick helped me get started with live streaming. We got started with OBS and then Slobs, or what's Slobs? What's the real name?
Yeah,
Streamlabs.
Yep.
And we were using that, and now it's StreamYard or some of the other web-based services, and it's just so fun. But I did actually, this kind of works well, Nick. I wanted to share some thoughts. When you get started here on YouTube, and you're really excited to get started and grow an audience, take it one step at a time, because there are just so many things. For example, when I came back, my first goal was just a live stream. And I live stream and I didn't have any lights. Wasn't that right, Nick? I think it was like, yeah. I maybe had one light, and now I'm using my Sony ZV-1, and that's new to me, and I'm getting set up with that, and I got the lights, and I'm trying to get the angle set, and it feels awkward, but you just do one thing at a time, and you keep striving to improve, and you'll get there.
Boom. Boom. Keep striving to improve. One of the things that I really like, everybody's saying this now too, but Brian kind of started championing this idea, is the importance of skill development, because everybody's always talking about all the tricks and stuff and all the different tactics to get views and all that, but at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff does come down to to developing skills in order to be able to get the response that you're after, and I love that Brian really highlights that all the time.
Hey, thanks, pal. That really means a lot. And I hear you sharing that, and I'm like, yeah, I know where that started. That started with me. And one of my slogans is skills for subs. You got to have the skills. And fact of the matter is, a lot of you watching, you already know that the hacks don't work, the tips don't work. And the reason why is because you're getting started. I've been watching a ton of music lately. Nick, last night I watched Lenny Kravitz 2 hours, this amazing concert. And I thought about the similarities between YouTubers and entertainers, because quite frankly, it's the same thing. Like right now, there are hundreds of people watching this live stream, and it took both of us many, many years and hours and videos to learn all the skills to move forward. And it's so easy to think you want to do music or you want to entertain a crowd. But when Lenny Kravitz walked out on stage and he grabbed a guitar, imagine if that was the first time he played guitar. What would the audience do? And yet so many YouTubers, they walk out on stage and they upload a third video and they wonder hey, why didn't I get any views? Well, because you haven't been in the garage strumming your guitar since you've been 7 years old, like Lenny Kravitz. Or this morning it was Alicia Keys, and she walks out. It was so dope. She walks out on stage and there are crowds going wild, and she hasn't even done anything yet. And she puts her hands to the keys and the lights go crazy. And it's she earned that. And that's what we have to do as YouTubers. So thank you very much. I'm Brian G. Johnson. I'm out.
So really quick, we had a super chat come in. We got a couple of them here. The very first one says, hey, Nick, I run a PC review channel. I'm from Singapore. Some of my viewers say they do not understand my English. How do I deliver well like you, or do I need to build an accent too? So it's practice. Yeah, practice. So that skill thing that we were just talking about, in your case, if you're trying to, communicate with a higher proficiency in English, then in that situation, it's just practicing, just keep making videos. And with every single video that you do, you'll keep getting better as long as you stay mindful of it. Make sure that you put a note, a Post-it note underneath your camera, reminding you to pay attention to the nuance of the words that you're saying, and it'll make a difference, but just keep practicing that over time. Another content creator that's in a similar boat, Peter Ingram, I think it's called, or Elgram. I think his name is. Brian, you might know his name. He does tons of like stuff around cameras and stuff. But he also speaks with like a pretty heavy accent, but he does, his YouTube channel started because he wanted to practice his English and he knew that making videos would help him do that.
Lingering.
And over time, you can hear his English improving. So I encourage you to do something similar.
Yeah, and that's Peter Lindgren, and that's just it. You have
Lindgren.
to have the ability to understand what's most important, and it bums me out because I hear so many YouTubers say, I'm doing all the things. No, you can never be doing all the things. It's impossible. So just try to identify what you need to improve. Nick, I'm feeling a little subconscious. Now I got a camera and everything's just a little too clear, and my wrinkles I'm a little unconscious. I'm a little
Unconscious? You're there like this?
I'm a little unconscious. Clearly, it's the morning for me. Maybe another cup of Java. Trade in the Perrier for coffee.
Next up, we've got Ryan Carla says, once you reach 1,000 subscribers, does YouTube growth get easier? Brian?
It gets easier based on, one moment, please. Let's try that. 800 ISO. That looks better. So here's the thing. As you make more and more videos, your skills, like we're talking about, increase. And here's the truth of the matter is, yes, it does get easier if you're conscious about the fact that you want to improve, you want to understand what's most important, and you focus on those things. So when people ask about tags, that's kind of a bummer because they don't matter enough. In fact, they don't matter enough at all to really get you anything that you want in terms of growth. So if you're focusing on that, you're not really dialed into what is most important. So over time, I promise you, you're going to do much better as long as you always strive to improve.
Boom. Zeta says, hey, Nick, I run a news channel around a video game known as For Honor, and I just got monetized thanks to your tips. Any further advice for me? Absolutely. So first, figure out exactly what it is that you want from your YouTube channel. If that's like subscribers, if that is, revenue, if that's, views, if that is just to keep people watching longer, if it's to grow a community, whatever it happens to be, figure out exactly what it is that you want from your YouTube channel. And from this point forward, because now you're monetized. So from this point forward, all of your efforts should go towards whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish with your YouTube channel. And typically, if that thing is like a subscriber count, for example, then you would go into your stats. You would figure out which type of content that you typically publish that generates more subscribers. If it's views, you would go into your stats. You would figure out which content typically drives more views for your channel. If it is revenue, then now that you're monetized, you can find out which videos drive or have higher CPMs so that you can make more content like that. But just figure out and get crystal clear on what it is that you want, because as you progress through this process, one, the content that you make is going to help you reach whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish faster. So because of that, you want to make sure that you understand what it is that you're after. But as you go through this process, knowing what you want is also going to help you understand, like, okay, who should I be collaborating with or not collaborating with based on audience crossover and what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. What conferences should I be going to based on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish? What companies should I take sponsorships from or do sponsored videos for based on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish? Or should I even do that? What products do I need to make myself, if any, in order to, accomplish whatever it is that I'm trying to do? If I'm trying to grow a community, do I want that community on YouTube, or do I need to create something off of YouTube so that I can grow a community slowly over time or fast, depending on what's going on with your channel? But do I need to make something off of YouTube, my own, forum or, a Facebook group or whatever it is, so that you can grow a community over there? So just figure out what it is that you want so that all of the actions that you take from this point forward, now that you're monetized, can help you get to, to that thing that you want. Brian, any thoughts?
I think you nailed it, buddy. All good.
All right. Thank you. So next up, we got Adoption with Nairi saying that the hair looks good, Brian. So good thing that you got your hair did before before the thing came on here.
I'm digging it. I gotta say, it's just here's the thing. If you're watching, it's really rewarding too. Like, you hear about all this improving stuff, but right now I'm feeling like I'm pretty happy. And what's cool is, check this out. Like, I'm not happy because I got more views. I'm happy because I'm seeing progress in my own channel my own abilities with, now I'm using the ZV-1. I've got some lights back there. It's not perfect, but I keep improving. And it's like when you feel fulfilled, when you feel good about things, it's a lot easier to keep going. And then I promise you, when you do that, then you get more views. So keep trucking.
So another question that we have here is from Repaid Tiger. Says, how would you recommend funneling views from TikTok? Because I have around 625,000 followers on TikTok, but only 100,000 on YouTube. So if you are trying to get people from TikTok, the very first thing that I would do is make sure that you are linking everything up in your bio. Let people know that you have a YouTube channel, because in order for people to come over, they need to know that you have that available. So make sure that you're spreading awareness about your YouTube channel and your TikTok. Make sure that you have a link in bio. If you do have a link in bio, I would put a link tree in there, or one of the contact pages, to where you can put, like your YouTube channel at the top. You can put, like your Twitter there, your Instagram, all that stuff, so that people can, kind of flow over into your other things directly from your TikTok account. Brian, any additional thoughts on TikTok?
Just mention it.
To hop over.
In your video every now and then, maybe every 5th video, and don't spend too much time, because then you're going to crush your TikTok audience. But just mention it. Hey, I'll see, come visit me on YouTube, and that's it. Don't make it about promotion. Don't think, like, this is a really common question on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever you're using, right? It's like we think, how can I promote? But no one wants to be promoted to. Nobody likes commercials. So just make it like matter of fact. And also, lastly, just know that it's hard to move an audience from any platform. Facebook, it's hard. TikTok, it's hard. Instagram, same thing. But if you do these things over time, you'll grow. And then focus on your YouTube content, because that is absolutely the biggest way, the best way that you're going to get the results you're after.
Also, as a quick side note, if anybody here does not know this amazing man on screen, Brian G. Johnson, I've got a link to his YouTube channel down in the description below, or you can go to Brian G. Johnson. Just look for Brian G. Johnson on YouTube search, and his channel will show up. You definitely need to be subscribed over there, because he also talks about, like information about growing your YouTube channel and stuff like that. Jack Decker
Super chat
says they're launching a daily game show doing dry runs right now. When should you move from dry runs to recording and releasing real episodes? Brian G. Johnson.
Nick, I want to hear your take on this, because we differ a little bit. And the fact of the matter is, when it comes to being a content creator, there's no perfect or best way. It's figuring out what works for you, but you do want to pay attention to those that have the results you're after. And so Nick's response might be a bit different than mine. So Nick, what do you think?
Start now. So I would go ahead and just start, like, if you're making the content anyway, get it up there. And the reason that you want to get it up there is because you want to go ahead and start going through the process of uploading videos, optimizing videos, making thumbnails, writing titles, and all that stuff. Because the game shows themselves, they might be awesome, but you have to learn to get people to click on those. And you also have to learn how people are responding to those in terms of your audience retention, so that you can make modifications, in the future content that you make. So doing the dry runs is cool, because, you're practicing, how you're putting everything together. You're practicing the presentation of that content and all that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to really fine tune things until you start getting some feedback in your YouTube analytics of how people are responding to that. So in my opinion, I think that you should start now. Brian?
Yeah, it's funny. I thought you would, here's the thing. I've seen Nick really dial things in and make videos and make adjustments, and then he'll go forward. He'll publish and he'll move forward. But at the end of the day, nothing is more powerful than consistently making videos. And the fact of the matter is, if you're a YouTuber and you want to grow, you cannot grow until you're regularly uploading content. That doesn't mean you need to publish on Sunday or Tuesday. It just means you have to make YouTube a part of your life, and you have to be conscious and thinking about YouTube. And if you take breaks, and if you don't ever really publish, or if it's been like 3 weeks since your last video, the likelihood that you'll gain that success is very little, because it's just, you have to make YouTube like this is what I do on a regular basis, and then it's possible. And if you don't start, what can happen if you don't start is that you start getting conscious, and you're worried, and you find all the imperfections about your content. And then you focus on those, and they grow bigger and bigger, because you're not stepping forward. So the sooner you step forward, the better. And for me personally, when I started, I was very, very raw. I had so many things that was the matter with my videos. My audio is bad. My color grading wasn't color grading. It was the wrong colors. But you know what? I just kept moving forward. And today my abilities are much better because of that. The sooner you get started, the sooner you can get what you want.
So my son's mother says, how do you know you're using the, oh, never mind. It wasn't a question here. They were talking to somebody else. Let's see here as we keep going down. So we got the budget sportsman here says, this question keeps popping up in groups. Is growing a shorts channel to a big number, then switching to long form content a good strategy for YouTube? I think not. So Brian, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, this is Logan. He's one of the mods in the Tube Ritual group, and this is a perfect opportunity. I want to give a huge, immense shout out to Doug for all the support he does for Nick and all the mods that are helping with Nick's stream and all of the people that support my efforts. You guys are so amazing, and you cannot appreciate how grateful I am for you guys at the Tube Ritual Facebook group. It takes an army, and I just wanted to say thank you. And I responded to Logan earlier, who's the budget sportsman. And the thing to think about is if you're like, oh, shorts is an easier way, I'm getting better traction. That's cool. Do that. However, you have to think what you're ultimately creating. And if you're creating a lot of shorts, then you're developing an audience that has responded to your shorts content. And then if you move forward and you're like, now I'm going to start publishing regular videos so I can make money. Well, guess what? You've trained people to enjoy 1 minute short videos. So think about that. And furthermore, this kind of springboards into something else I've thought about. Like, Nick, should I live stream? Or should I do shorts? Or what about regular content? What's the best way to move forward? And I think what you want to do is, number one, you want to get clear on what result you want. Then number two, you have to focus on what's in your heart just as much as the audience. We talk about the audience a lot. It doesn't mean you need to shut down what you want out of your YouTube channel. If you want to make money, I would be conscious about making regular videos, because ultimately, I believe right now the core of YouTube is traditional long form video. Doesn't mean there's not a huge opportunity for shorts. It just means get clear on what you want and then proceed forward. And you know what? Experiment. This stuff is fun. Like, try it out. Like, I like to live stream, so I'm working on that, and I've done a few shorts, but right now it's like videos, live streaming. Like, for me to try to learn shorts right now would probably be a little too much with all the things I got going on. So.
Another good question we have here from Vintage Thrifter Anna says, how many times per week is good to post video content? So when it comes to posting video content and how many times per week, like, it comes down to, like, what is it that you're actually trying to accomplish? How good are you at getting a response? How fast do you want to learn? What can you work into your lifestyle? Because, part of being a content creator is, a serious content creator is working the process of creating content, coming up with ideas, researching those ideas, putting the actual videos together, publishing those videos, interacting with the community, all that stuff. Like, it takes a lot of, time and effort. So because of that, just thinking like, how can I work all of that into my lifestyle, and what is a good rate for me to upload so that I can maintain that upload cadence consistently for a very long period of time? Because what you ultimately want is, you don't want to just go gangbusters on uploading content every day and just completely burn yourself out because you haven't even learned. And I'm not saying you haven't, I'm just saying, theoretically, if you haven't already learned, like, how to get a good response from what it is that you're doing, then in that case, what you're doing is you're just brute force uploading to YouTube and hoping things work out. When essentially what you're doing, if you haven't learned how to get that good response, you're not getting that good response because the content that you're putting out isn't worthy of that response yet. So because of that, if you're just brute force uploading, you're putting yourself into a situation where you're just putting all this effort into content that nobody's responding to, and it's not helping you in any way, shape, or form to grow the channel. Whereas if you were to slow things down a little bit, because, if you take out some of that time, because again, it impacts your lifestyle. So if you take out some of that time that you would spend creating content, and you spend that time, learning to read your YouTube analytics, learning more about YouTube, developing, the skills of editing videos and presenting on camera and all that good stuff that's needed for all of this, then in that situation, uploading less will end up long term being a lot more effective for you because you're going to be developing the skills that we were talking about earlier. So, in my opinion, I think that you should figure out what you're trying to do, figure out where you're at on the skill level side of things in terms of the response that you're trying to generate, and figure out what you can work into your lifestyle at a comfortable rate, because there isn't an answer to the question that you're asking. So there's channels on YouTube that upload one time per month and they get crushed with views when they upload one time per month. There's channels on YouTube that upload daily that get crushed with views when they upload daily. And then there's everything in between. So because of that, it's really important to, figure out what fits comfortably into your lifestyle, and also to understand, what it is that you're after, so that you can say, okay, well, if I'm trying to reach this particular milestone by this particular time, I've learned to get a response. So now that I've learned to get a response, I'm going to start uploading more so that I can get to that particular milestone or hit that particular goal at a faster rate, right? Any additional thoughts on that, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, here's the thing that worked really, really well for me. And again, it's always, I think one of the things I want to first start with what Nick was saying. The faster and more you upload, the less time there is to think because you're busy. When you slow down, you have an opportunity to think, and you can say, well, what was it about that video? Why did it do well? Maybe I should check my analytics, like Nick said, or maybe my editing was a bit better. But if it's like every day you're on a hamster wheel and you never have time to really think and ponder why things are working out. Now that doesn't mean there's not power in uploading fast, because I've done both and I love it. When I started my channel, I didn't have any technical skills or abilities. I didn't know about cameras, lighting. I didn't know about video editing. I didn't know much about graphic design. I started my thumbnail graphic design on my iPad, and I still make my thumbnails on my iPad. I'm not happy with them, but I'll cross that bridge this year. But when you publish and upload a lot, it's gonna kickstart all those skills that are associated with publishing videos, like the thumbnails and the editing and the upload process and topics and SEO and so on. And even better, if you're conscious, like be thinking about this and you tell yourself that, then you're gonna learn and gain momentum in really just going through that process. However, over a period of time, you have to stop. I see so many creators and it's all brute force. It's like, well, I just want to upload a lot and then I get more keywords. Their videos are trash. I'm going to just say it right now. Most YouTubers, I might be
striking a nerve. Here it comes.
Right on the edge here, folks. And I have to be conscious. This really isn't my stream per se. I mean, I am Brian G, but I am on Nick Nimmin's channel.
Brian G. Johnson, all streams are your Brian G. Johnson.
Hey, listen, so slow down, like make a lot of videos and then slow down. And then try to make the very best video you've ever published and do that every week. One video a week, and do that for 2 or 3 or 4 months. And then speed up and then go back and forth. And you'll find, like now, what's really cool is I can make a really good video that people love, does well, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 views. And it's not a lot of work or mental processing power because I've practiced. It's like we keep going back to practice and skills. It's so boring, Nick.
It is.
I just wish someone would share a tip.
Though.
Like, how can I get views right now, though, Nick?
Next question we have is from Christina Rivera Beauty. Says, I do beauty videos and it looks like a cloudy mist on my videos. I'm not great with editing and use KineMaster to edit videos on my phone. Still learning. So in a lot of cases, that can just come from a dirty lens. So if you're making videos on your phone, then in that situation, just make sure before you record anything that your lens is completely clean. In addition to that, you might be able to adjust the contrast to be able to kind of make that go away a little bit. You won't be able to 100% fix it with contrast, but that can definitely help in some cases if you do see like a little bit of cloudiness in your video, because what you're doing in that case is you're making the dark colors darker and you're making the light colors lighter with the contrast, and then that kind of balances that out a little bit. So I would definitely look into that. Let's see here with El Jefe Reviews. What's up, dude? I hope that you're doing fantastic. Says, finally caught you live. Much love to both you and Brian G. The fundamentals and strategy you guys teach have helped me so much. Nearly 50,000 now and a much better lifestyle for my family. Thank you, dude. High five, fist bump. Boom. Absolutely love seeing that message. So, so with him, he sent me a message on Twitter a long time ago, and he's like, hey, dude, my audience retention, I just can't get past that, that first, I can't get them to get past that like first part. So, I mentioned the same exact thing that I mentioned to a lot of you guys as well on, like just experiment with a bunch of different things. Like when your videos first start, like there isn't like a right way necessarily, like a templated right way to just nail an audience every single time. So because of that, you have to experiment, with the people that YouTube is showing your content to. And he did that plus a lot of additional, things. And he's just deep in the tech community and all that stuff. And he's just an awesome person. And now he's crossed 50,000 subscribers. He's got a better lifestyle for his family. Dude, absolutely love seeing that, my man.
It's just like, I got to tell you guys, like, first of all, El Jefe, thank you for sharing your journey with us. Thank you for participating and stepping up for yourself. And it's just so rewarding. Sometimes people ask me like, hey, who's your favorite social media? And I'm like, honestly, it's my crew. It's the people that I see in the trenches striving to grasp and attain that thing that they so very much want. And they're willing to walk that extra mile, because the fact of the matter is results do not come in a dozen or a couple dozen video uploads. It takes time, but those people that continue, oftentimes amazing things happen. They start making serious money. They get serious results. It's so fulfilling. And the fact of the matter is anybody can do it. The thing is right now, if you're watching, and you're telling yourself you can't, or it's too hard, try to hang out on this live stream with Nick every Saturday. Try to hang out with those people that believe, because you have to believe. At some point, you have to change your mindset, and you have to say, somehow, I don't know how, but I'm going to get there, and I'm going to make it work. And when you do that, poof, pixie dust. Going old school today, Nick.
That was great, though. That was good. That was good. I loved it.
Super chat.
Pixie dust. I need a pixie dust audio clip. I need a pixie dust audio clip. Crispy Lock says, I'm a hair channel. I have a little over 2,000 subs. I average about 200 views in the first day and a half. Is this normal? I'm starting to see steady increase in views, but it's slow. Okay. First, the steady increase in views is the thing that you should be focused on. In terms of what's normal, there isn't necessarily a normal. So like everybody that's hanging out in the chat right now, we've got like 340 something people here. Everybody, their growth rate is different. So, some people, they publish more and, they come onto YouTube with, certain skills already. So they already have those out of the way and they don't have to spend time, learning how to do certain things. And because of that, they can kind of move along a little bit faster than some of the other people that are hanging out. So in terms of like what's normal, don't sweat that. But the thing to focus on is the increase in views, and try to think of what might be causing that increase in views, right? So in my opinion, and I want to hear Brian's input on this too, but in my opinion, I would definitely, now that you have 2,000 subscribers, you're averaging 200 views in the first day and a half, I would start going into your YouTube analytics and really start trying to uncover and understand why it is that people are responding positively now, or more positively now than they were in the past, and try to uncover why it is that you're getting views. Are you getting more suggested traffic? Are you sending more views to yourself from the other videos that you have in your library? Are you connected to specific videos on platform? Are you getting more views from the homepage? But I'd really start digging in and trying to uncover exactly why it is that your channel is doing better now than it was before. Any additional thoughts on that, Brian?
I thought that was awesome. The thing I would say and add to that is when you're in your analytics on the second tab, reach, we'll say reach at the top, that's going to be your traffic sources. And probably the easiest way to get a lot of views, there's really three major traffic sources that drive all the views on YouTube. 90% of the views come from three places. Suggested, which everybody wants and nobody gets. So you can go for that, but the easy one, the second one is browse, and that's a little bit easier than suggested, and the easiest one is search. Now here's the thing: if you learn what people are searching for when it comes to hairstyles, hair cutting, and I definitely need help right now. Like COVID, I get a haircut every now and haircut. That's called a shave, my friend. We'll talk about that another time. But pay attention to what people put in the YouTube search bar, right? And you'll see those phrases actually come up in your reach section under search, and you'll see search keywords, and just make videos based on those and put those search terms at the beginning of your video title, and you'll get a slight boost. And then when you're making your title, and this is what Nick talks about a lot, I talk about it a lot, you want to create something that compels people to click. Give them a reason, like this weird hairstyle trick that will make you look like a movie star, right? Like, how can you say that in a short, succinct kind of way? When you do that, when you combine keyword phrases with being compelling, which is a skill and takes time, but when you start focusing on it, then you'll get there. Really powerful, and you can get a crazy amount of views.
Boom. Next question that we have on the list is from the Northwoods RV Life. It says, I'm trying hard to simplify my thumbnails. I found it to struggle to keep it simple, but I'm trying my hardest to learn. Yeah, here's the thing. When it comes to making thumbnails or anything that is, design related, like if you're not just focusing on the actual imagery itself, it can be like if somebody doesn't have some type of idea of graphic design, typically people way over design. And when they way over design, they just destroy what could have been a very effective thumbnail. So a good rule of thumb when it comes to YouTube is less is more. So, if you are using text in your thumbnails, consider if you even need to. And if you are using text and you're like, yeah, it does help give, certain context to the video or whatever, or it is the compelling thing that would cause somebody to click, whatever that happens to be, then in that situation, just think, okay, I need to be able to do this in as few words as humanly possible, so that I can make sure that I'm not polluting the entire thumbnail with a bunch of, text, if possible, depending on the type of content that you make.
Do this, and this goes for everybody. If you do this and you're conscious about great graphic design, it will impact you, and you'll start to learn, and it's not even hard. You go through life, you're in the supermarket, you see a bag of chips. They paid a graphic designer big money, and he spent years and years, and he designed the graphics for that bag of chips. Pay attention to books. When you see this, what does this look like? Does that look like a funnel? When I wrote Trust Funnel, I had in my mind, I want a funnel, and it's simple. It's easy to understand. Money comes out the other end. And pay attention to book covers. Movie posters are amazing. If you look at the movie poster for Jaws, it's so descriptive. You know exactly what's going on. There's a woman swimming on top of the water. There's a huge shark underneath, and she is in trouble. You don't need any text to describe that. Now, that is hard. And that's, like, how do I move forward? The way you move forward is pay attention. And here's the key. You pay attention to great graphic designers, and you stop listening to, and I'm just going to put it out there, stop listening to small YouTubers with 100 freaking subscribers telling you what to do with your thumbnails. Pay attention to graphic design, professional graphic design, and you'll go far.
Or just photos, like photography.
Great photos, yeah.
Yeah, like go and look up the rules of photography. If you do that, just by learning that by itself, that's going to give you insight on like things to focus on, how to direct the eye with the photos that you're taking, that sort of thing. And that all of those things is great to have in your toolkit, so to speak.
One more tip. This is really powerful. When you think about your title and your thumbnail, think about communicating one thing. Like Nick said, less is more. Break it down to just one thing, and that thing should be like the why. Like how to get more views on YouTube fast is good, but like how to get more views on YouTube in 2 minutes, and then you communicate 2 minutes or very fast. Understand like what is the one core fundamental that I want to convey, and this is what compelling means. It means either A, your audience wants to get a benefit, like they want the result very fast, or number two, the audience is fearful of something, and that could be like people looking to lose weight, and I can't lose weight, so what do I do? So you identify one core like benefit or something people are afraid of, and you focus on that, and then you create your thumbnail and your video title around that, and that's really the package or the video message. So it's not the thumbnail, it's not the title, it's really the message you're communicating. And when you make it really compelling and you focus on benefits or things that people are afraid of, fear, very, very powerful. You can come back now, Nick.
I did, but now I'm back. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, I had to step away. Yeah, I had to step away for a quick second. Okay. So next up on our list, we've got T said what T said says, thank you so much for your work. All the people on your panels are so helpful. I just crossed 20,000 subscribers last week. High five and fist bump to you. And I was paid $3,800 for this month's ad revenue. Nice work. Love seeing that. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Can I ask her a question, Nick? How can I get $3,800 a month with AdSense?
Yeah, so let's see here. 3,800. Yeah, so if she keeps that pace up and for everybody that's looking to go full-time on YouTube or looking to make it as a side hustle, if she can keep up that pace, and it'll keep growing over time, but if she can keep up that pace, that's $45,000 a year just from uploading video content to the internet. It's awesome.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Nice work. Yep.
YouTube be changing lives.
Does. Absolutely does. Science-Based Fitness says, Brian G, if you were an Avenger, who would you be?
I already know. I got the answer. Listen, kids, this is a good story. Here's the thing. I got this fancy YouTube studio being built downstairs in my basement. I'm not even kidding. The whole basement is going to be a YouTube studio. I'm blessed and lucky. But now here's the thing. The guys that are working down there, they're going through this egress window. I call them creepers. The name of the company is Elkstone, and I call them creepers because they're in my backyard, and then they're in my basement, and they're creeping around. Now, that means they had to take the egress window, the cover off of it. And we got a big snowstorm the other day. It covers off the egress window. I go downstairs to open the window so they can get in, and I see this poor little bunny. The poor little bunny is stuck.
Aww.
And he can't get out because the egress window is like 5 feet up. I can barely get down there. And so I'm like, I'm going to get a plank and I'm dropping boards down there, and he still can't get out. And I put boxes, and then I put lettuce down there. I almost built him a home, and still he can't get out. So then I put on gloves and I crawled down there and I grabbed the little bunny. You can see where this is going.
I can.
And from that day, I told the people that no longer will you refer to me as Brian G. Johnson, but now you will refer to me as Bunny Saver Man.
I was expecting Bunny Wrangler is what I was expecting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, okay, Bunny Wrangler all day long.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. It's shorter. It's kind of pulls in that like Western cowboy kind of theme.
Does. And you could also go with like with like speed related things too with the bunny. That's a win also. So
happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, sometimes it just falls apart, Brian. Michelle E, thank you for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Jay super Hernandez bass. Oh, that's a cool looking bass in your channel profile. I wonder if you play that thing. That's pretty cool if you do. So thank you for the super chat there. Much appreciated. So somebody mentioned here, we have Owen Robinson saying, should I get the YouTube formula book? Yeah, absolutely. Sure. So, one of the things, I've actually got a thing here. Hold on. I've got a thing here from when Daryl was on. I do right here. Bam. Yeah. So I had this from when Daryl was on before. But basically, like when it comes to all of this stuff, like you should get Daryl's book, YT Formula. You should. Whoa. Hold on. I almost fell over. Oh my gosh.
Be careful.
You should get Tube Ritual by the guy that's right over on the screen. Doesn't he look familiar? I don't know. I've seen this guy somewhere. I don't know where, but you should get that. And you should also get this as well. So I know this has an audio version. I'm not sure if you like to read or listen, but I know that has an audio version. I think Daryl's does as well. Does yours have audio?
Nope.
Okay, so Brian's is read only. So in this particular one, you gotta actually buy the book itself. So but get all of those and read them because they're like, here's the thing. So I've been doing YouTube for a long time now. So is Brian. And one thing that I still make as part of my day or week is I'm watching other people's videos. I'm, watching the YouTube videos. I still go through the YouTube creator community or creator academy on a regular basis. I'm reading blogs about YouTube. I'm reading everything that I possibly can or consuming as much information as I possibly can about YouTube, and all of that stuff helps me do better. It helps me, instruct you guys in ways that you can do better. So, when it comes to you being a content creator, like get all the stuff, like if you can, get all of the books that you can, watch all the YouTube videos that you can, listen to all the podcasts that you can. And what all of that is going to do is it's going to give you tons of insight. But got to throw a disclaimer in here. Do not just do that, because a lot of people will just do that, but then they won't apply it. They'll be like, oh, hey, I'm working on my YouTube channel by listening to this stuff, but then they don't actually apply what it is that they're doing. And because of that, they don't get results. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that whatever it is that you do learn, that you just start writing stuff down. Okay, this week I'm working on this. This week I'm working on this. This week I'm working on this. And as you go through the process, you're going to just get better and better and better and better at what it is that you're doing.
Word
to Big Bird. All right, so let's see here as we keep going. We've got Dole Whip Dad saying something about Bunny Lord. Oh, Brian G, the Bunny Lord. I love that. That's great. Yeah, so the
I don't know how this stuff happens. It just does.
Yeah,
I mean,
we got to be careful. We got to be careful, because then it can become like a thing, right? To where everybody's like, comments like, hey, it's the Bunny Lord. Yeah.
I'm going to get some bunny thing in the mail. It's going to be awkward.
Lead with Jim says, when are you putting out a book, Nick? I'm not. Yeah, book isn't my thing. Like, in my situation, I'm a video guy. I'm a podcast guy. I do that kind of stuff. Like when it comes to writing, I actually started. There's one point in time where I was like, hey, everybody's got books. I should have a book. And I started writing a book, and I was using Microsoft to do it, Microsoft Office. And I had everything synced up in the cloud, and I got like a bunch of words in, and I actually ended up saving over it, over the main file, and it took me back down to 0. And I was like, well, there goes the book. Not doing that anymore. Yeah.
And Nimmin is not an author.
Right. If I did do a book, I would just make like a coffee table book. And that coffee table book, because I've thought about other ways that I could do it, that coffee table book would be a 365-day plan of something that you could do every single day to improve your YouTube channel. So it would just be like one thing, and then it would flush out that idea of that thing. So it'd be like, hey, focus on this today. And it would just be a 365-day coffee table book type of thing, to where it would basically just kind of help you get through the skills and stuff that you need when it comes to YouTube. Skills. All right. So next question that we have, and I'm just going to pull this one here from the form. Just because the forum, I've been kind of like, just kind of not paying much attention to the forum here since Brian came on. So let me hit this one real quick. We got King Regum. King Regum says they do gaming and entertainment content. They want to entertain and create an awesome community. And the question is, hey, Nick, what's up? Been a while since I've made it to a live, and super excited to be here. I typically focus on making Pokemon content, but I just started a series on a new game yesterday. I consider making a new channel, but decided to test a few videos on my current channel to test if the audience overlaps. Is that okay? Yeah, it's fine. So experimentation on your channel is fine. The idea is that when you are experimenting, though, you want to make sure that anything that you experiment with is something that you're willing to make similar content around in the event that those videos end up taking off, where, you get super high response. And then in that situation, you want to follow the audience in that situation in terms of like, wow, the people really dig this content. So because of that, let me make more of this, to give the people what they want is the idea there. Any additional thoughts there, Mr. Johnson?
No.
Super
Brian, do you
chat.
struggle with procrastination at all?
Sort of. Like the way I look at procrastination is a little different. Nick, number one, that I've taken a lot of breaks on YouTube, and I'm blessed to have been able to come out the other side. Some of them were sort of planned, and I knew I was like, hey, like when I wrote my Tube Ritual book, I thought I was going to take a week off, and I thought I was going to write a report, and I started all this writing, and I'm like, it could be a book. And I took another 3 weeks off. So I kind of knew that, like, I'm going to give myself a little grace, a little time. I'm going to come back to YouTube in a month. I publish maybe a video. Sometimes I'll just be really burnt out and I'll struggle. And the first thing I do is I actually allow myself, again, grace. And I say, hey, you're burnt out, take a little bit of time, and then move forward. Now, here's the thing. I think that's really smart to do if you take off 5 days or a week. Nick will probably say something like, before you do that, have an extra video you can release in a week, so you have a little bit of a cushion, which is super powerful and smart. I'm usually not that prepared, just because creating a good video takes a lot of time and effort. But at some point, you have to say, the break is over. I am a YouTube creator, And if I want to continue to not have to have a job, make money, create videos that I enjoy, do brand deals, have a following, have people that care, then at some point you have to just tell yourself to shut the hell up, to get over it and make a video. And furthermore, one of the things you'll find is if you take a break, or if you're just getting started on YouTube, it can be really mentally challenging to make a video because you're not in the habit of making a video. So the thing you have to do is just don't try to publish the world's greatest video. Your job is just to make a video. And then your second video, you're like, I need to do a bit better. And again, you keep trying to improve slightly, and then you find rhythm. Every great creator that you've ever watched, most of the time they're in rhythm where when they turn on their lights and everything, like right now, I know when I live stream, the camera's here, I'm already getting comfortable. The ISO is set to 800. I'm at 50 frames or 50 shutter speed of 1/50. I'm 60 frames per second. And it's like, I'm learning as I go, like I said, but like when you're stuck, give yourself a little time to relax. And then when it's too long, be honest with yourself and be like, okay, here's the thing. You had a break and now you're not doing anything and it's not a break anymore. This is becoming really your lifestyle and that's not healthy. And you have to either YouTube's not for me or I need to make it happen.
Boom. Next up on the list, we've got EJ Tech and DIY says, we'll get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours in a couple of days. My question is how to deal with companies and brand deals when being approached by them. First is a lot of people are going to approach you and they are going to want you to make content for next to nothing. And one thing that you want to make sure that you are keeping in mind is that if they were to pay somebody to make the content, they would need cameras. They would need to pay that particular person to be the actor in that particular video. They would need to pay somebody to edit that video. They would have to pay somebody on their team to actually come up with the idea for that video and so on. So because of that, they would pay a lot of money to make the video themselves. But if they are doing influencer marketing, they're looking around for people that are going to do it for them. So because of that, just think to yourself in terms of what it is worth for you. So a lot of times people will just be excited. They'll be like, hey, like I have this company reaching out to me. They want to give me a phone case or a couple of phone cases or a box of phone cases to make a video for them. But one thing that I just want you to think about is when they are offering to send you stuff, that's cool. Like you can do whatever you want. But one thing just to consider is trying to think of like, okay, do I actually need a box of phone cases? Do I need whatever it is that they happen to be sending me? If so, then, they just save me money from having to buy it. And sure, what the heck? I need a video anyway. Let me make it. But then you have the other side to where it's like, well, I am putting wear and tear on my camera. Instead of making a video about their phone case, let me look for an affiliate offer for phone cases. And then in that situation, instead of making, $100 or $1,000 for that one video, then in that situation, or more, depending on what it is that you're doing, you can make a dedicated affiliate video. And then that particular video will continue to drive, revenue to you for a long period of time, as long as people respond to that video. So because of that, you just want to balance out what it is that they're offering versus other avenues that you could take to get the similar result or a better result long-term. Also think about the loss that you're taking. So for example, in my situation, when I put the bumpers at the beginning of my video, it hurts the performance of my video. However, in order for people to put those bumpers in the beginning of the video, they have to pay for it. So because of that, I balance it out like, okay, yeah, this video is probably not going to do as well, but they're paying for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the hit possibly on the performance, but I'm still going to put this particular video out. So basically what I do is I balance, what it is that I'm doing with the channel versus what it is, versus, what it is that they're offering me and all that good stuff, in order to make the decision on exactly what it is to do. But, there's going to be tons of people. I have a video on my channel. If you look, if you go to YouTube search and you look for Nick Nimmin, brands are scamming YouTubers, the video is going to pop up. But the entire video is about how brands take advantage of YouTube content creators because YouTubers are excited to work with brands because it's like part of the thing, right? It's like, oh, I've got somebody where I'm like official now. I've got somebody reaching out, right? So it's part of like our process or our progress, and we kind of identify that as progress. So because of that, brands take advantage of it. Not everybody, but there's a lot that do. So just make sure that you know your worth. Make sure that you're also factoring in the loss, the wear and tear on your cameras, your time, all of that stuff, because it does all add up. And just make sure that you're getting, what you believe that it's worth for you to do it. If not, then just be totally cool walking away and don't sweat it. but definitely look at alternative ways that you can make money as well, so that you can, have sponsorships as part of what you do. And then you can also have, your ad revenue. Maybe you do some crowdfunding like Patreon or something like that. And you can also do like affiliate marketing and, those sorts of things also.
One thing
Walter's World, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. What are you going to say, Brian?
One thing to think about too is that when you start going down that avenue, all the things that Nick mentioned, don't forget to hit on the audience, especially if it's like you're creating, like, let's say a company offers to pay you $100, which sounds like a lot of money, but the amount of time and attention and focus for your brain to make one video on something that you're not that excited about is a lot. And then you push out a video that your audience isn't really that connected to, and it really impacts you. I see so many people so often they say, oh, it's just for this one video. This is where a lot of YouTube creators really mess up, because they think it's just one video, but they make a sponsored video for $100 that the audience isn't that interested in. Then they make a video about their dog or about something that is more about their own personal journey rather than what the audience is really focused on. And it's so easy. Oh, it's just this one video. But if you say that 6 or 8 times in 3 or 4 months, it's actually every 3 weeks, you push out another video that your audience isn't that excited about. And then you wonder why you're not getting views, because you're not focused on the audience. So just be aware that it's a really easy trap to fall into. Like for me personally, I love that I have my own coaching program. I love that I make my AdSense revenue, which doesn't really impact the audience. I do live streaming for Super Chat. There's so many ways to make money, and brand deals aren't bad. But don't settle for peanuts when you could get paid much more.
Super chat.
Smash time. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you. So on that note, I want to thank you, Brian D. Johnson, for hanging out here in the chat. So before you leave, Brian, make sure that you stick around for the after party. But okay. Brian, thank you for hanging out in the chat. Mods, thank you for holding it down for us. Everybody that's been hanging out here today, thank you for participating in the stream today. I do want to encourage you, because we do share a ton of information here. I do want to encourage you to make sure that you pick a thing or two that you can work on, because you heard Brian and I talking about skills right throughout this whole thing. So just make sure that you pick a couple of things that you can work on to help develop your skills, and that you can apply directly to your channel as well to help move the needle for you, because without application, none of this stuff is going to help. So you have to make sure that you're applying the information to what it is that you're doing, so that you can get the results that you're after here on YouTube. Now, on that note, I also want to say, I know tons of people are looking for information on YouTube Shorts. Right now, Daryl Eves, he just started live streaming like 6 minutes ago also. So if you guys want to know information about YouTube Shorts, I'm going to put a link to Daryl's stream right here. Let's see here, his stream. So head over there, but I want you to do me a favor before you go. I want you to do me a favor. Just when you go in there, just give him a hashtag nimminati so he knows where it came from, just for fun. So it'd be kind of like a raid of sorts. I have it open right now. So I'm actually looking for you guys to go over there and just drop, nimminati hashtags in there. So it's kind of like a YouTube version of a Twitter raid. So head over to Daryl E's stream through that link that I just sent, and just drop some nimminatis in there. And I'm just going to wait to see some of those start showing up before I close this down here. Okay, we got one in there. First one, Mr. Casey Loudry, dropping a nimminati in there. I hope he's not talking about anything serious, because I can't hear what he's talking about. Budget Sportsman in there dropping the nimminati. Yeah, thank you for representing there. King Regum in there dropping the nimminati as well. Info Graphy. Yeah, there we go. Here they come. Nice.
Awesome.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, get them in there. All right, guys. So thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody have an awesome rest of your week, and we will see you next time.
Just remember, wherever you are, there you go.
Boom.